shit.
Ah, shit, indeed. We are live. And this is the haunting of Seawall Orphanage with the wonderful Jonathan Fry. Hello, friend.
Hi, friend. Hi, everybody. I'm Don. I will be your narrator for today. So we're going to be playing an original horror game. It's never been played before, and it doesn't have a name, not yet anyways. It's a low-prep, collaborative, improvised game, role-playing about growing up, unrelenting evil, coping with grief, and the end of a long summer. But enough of that. It's time for us to return to the historic Seawall Orphanage and tell a ghost story. And before we do, I want to go around and have everybody remind us of who you are and who you'll be playing today. And let's start with Ray.
Oh, hey, I'm Ray. I play Staley, a grungy teenager who is just a soft bean on the inside. You can find me at With a Brick on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, everywhere on the interwebs. And if you follow me on Twitter, I've got some stuff coming, so stay up to date with that stuff, because in a couple weeks I'll be somewhere else doing something else. So, yay.
Yay. Very cool. Let's go down to Josh. Hi, Josh. How are you doing, friend?
Yeah, I'm good. Everything is good. We are totally going to have a great time tonight. Nothing bad could possibly happen. I'm just cleaning blood and vomit off me. What's that about? Don't know. Check out the YouTube channel for last week's episode. Get yourself up to date. But my name is Joshua, aka roleplayers_TV, and I will be playing Jacob Prince, who is not having a very princely time of it at the moment. Everything is going to be fine, though. Don has promised to make it all up to me this episode, haven't you, Don?
Yes, absolutely. Well, on that note, let's go on over to Lydia. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lydia. I'm playing Wren, also sometimes known as Birdie, to her very close friends. I don't know, she's just so sweet. She's 14. She's got a lot of idols here in this group, maybe some that aren't her idols yet. I don't know. They can maybe prove themselves. Anyways, Lydia on Twitter at Lydia Heals. It's mostly me posting pictures of my dog and this game. That's it.
Cool. Let's say hello to Tommy. Hi, Tommy.
Hello, I'm Tommy, Imperative Pengu on the Twitter sphere, and I will be playing Jay Hopkins. How to describe Jay? He's a real... it's really hard to describe him. The type of guy that every adult loves, the type of kid that every adult loves, but other kids have uneasy feelings about them. That's the great way to describe him. The only other thing I've got to say is that I've got a note from last week, and it says, snitches get stitches. And that's it.
I don't even have to work. You guys will just kill each other at this rate. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's go over to Travis. Hi, Travis. How are you doing, man?
Man, what's up, Don? I'm producer Trev. I produce WebDM. And today I'm playing Merrill Gross, who is heir to the grocery store chain fortune. He suffered a head injury. I'm that guy who has thrown way too much backstory at his DM. So I can't wait to see how that turns out. Also, I'm very glad to be playing with Imperator Pengu today, who has my second favorite Twitter handle, my first being Where's My Dingus? But he has my second favorite Twitter handle. Anyway, I'm very excited to be here. And what could possibly go wrong? Back to you in the studio.
Thank you. Last but certainly not least, let's go up to Present Charlie. Hello, Charlie.
Hello, it is me, Present Charlie. What could go wrong is you could have someone called Charlie in your group who will always press the big red stupid button and will land you all in the dentist's chair in the basement with one foul sweeping truth, because she's just like that. I am playing Gigi Banks, who is 16 going on 17, I guess she's now 17, who just had a birthday party where she received interesting gifts from those that she lives with. She enjoys the water. She works down at the Mariner, a fancy restaurant on the docks. Her father is a fisherman, and she's lived at Seawall Orphanage for a very long time. But maybe just one more year, she can save up enough money to leave. I think, Dawn, now is a good time for us to mention that the chat can interact with today's game. They can hit the donation options. You can check out down below for a very brief explanation, or over in chat, I will post up very specific donations for this game. You can also hit that retweet button. We've already hit 20 retweets, which has unlocked a viewer poll at the end of today. But if we hit 30, Dawn will make things darker. If we hit 40, darker still. If we hit 50, which will top our record for the season, we will plunge into the depths of darkness, despair, lose all hope, all ye who enter here. I think that is about all I have to say. If you see anything clippable, please do clip it. It's just amazing to get to go back and watch moments that you have enjoyed. And also, if you're on YouTube, hello, thank you so much for being here. Please hit the like button if you enjoy this. Leave us a comment. Tell me, how dark can Don get? How low can he go? Let's go and speak to Past Charlie about our sponsors for tonight's show before we dive into the darkness here in the haunting of Seawall Orphanage. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and rolls you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
It's just to be separated.
Yeah.
And here we are.
We are back. Let's begin tonight's story. Pretty Marsh Harbor is just like any other small town in America. It's got nosy neighbors, a summer music festival, a little church that's maintained and cared for by the love of its community. It's got cotton candy and caramel apples, people falling in love, growing old together, vanishing without a trace into the deep, cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean. It's got this sense that maybe the big cities and the modern world are leaving it behind, and it's okay with that. It prefers the old ways, just like any other small town in America. The last weeks of summer are a beautiful time to be in Pretty Marsh Harbor, but summer never lasts long on the island. Soon winter will come and bring with it terrible snowstorms. Folks will stop saying hello to each other. They'll linger in their homes, staring out through the windows into the dark, and the dark will stare back at them. But not yet. Last session, the foster children living in Seawall Orphanage gathered to celebrate Gigi's 17th birthday. It was a dull party with simple, if maybe heartfelt presents, lip gloss, 50 gross bucks that can be spent over the grocery store down the street, a pet black cat named Colin, a handcrafted doll made from Gigi's hair that was stickier than it should have been, and a free teeth cleaning from the orphanage's caretaker, Mr. Toothaker, who claimed to have studied dentistry many, many, many years ago. It wasn't a dull affair for everyone, though. Jacob ran to the store at the last minute to grab a gift for the party, and there he ran into Mr. McGinty, the crude old man that lives behind the town's school. Mr. McGinty was acting strange, repeating again and again the words, "Talk, talk, talk." And then he vomited blood up onto Jacob, ruining his clothes, and left, wandering down the street. Just another day in Pretty Marsh Harbor. So this session begins at the end of the birthday party. It's 52 degrees, Around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the stars above are blotted out by dark, shapeless clouds. Off to the north, somewhere beyond the lighthouse, over the sea, lightning flickers, threatening the coming of a summer storm. Gigi. Gigi, I'd like to start a new scene. So you are out back with the birthday party. The party's pretty much over at this point, but I want you to introduce one truth about this scene. So just to remind the folks watching and the players as well, because this is a new game, we do a little ritual at the beginning of every scene. It starts by me saying, Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. And then a player gets to introduce a truth. I get to introduce a truth of my own, and we say something else. So what is true about this scene, Charlie?
What is true is that everyone has gone inside or elsewhere. The party's pretty much packed up. Gigi is just going around with the last garbage bag, collecting paper plates that have kind of been blown by the wind and the breeze. And then she sees a gift that she hadn't been given. And that is the truth.
The truth I'll add to this is that the gift is more immaculately wrapped than any of the other gifts that were given, which were fairly plain in simple boxes. Some of them, I think the cat was in a cardboard box that had been duct taped over with some holes punched into it. This one is in blue and red wrapping, almost Christmas colors. But it's got a magnificent bow, a pink bow on top of it. And it's about the size of like a board game box. It doesn't have a card. It's just sitting there.
And Gigi will pick it up and bring it to her. Growing up is scary, but we don't have to do it alone. And I think she runs her hand over that wrapping paper, curious as to who it could be from, why it's here, why, if it was for her, it's not been given to her. Everyone else has been very bold in giving her their gifts. The only gift she'd really liked was the one from Birdie, the little card, so carefully made. And she kind of takes it down to where she'd been sitting with Birdie, where they'd been singing songs and gossiping between them. And she'll carefully kind of pull at the tape, trying not to tear the paper, thinking that maybe she and Birdie can use it for some sort of collage project later or something.
As you're trying to tear at the paper, Gigi, it's without tearing the paper, it's hard to tear it. It's a little stuck or a little harder to tear than most. And as you're working at it, you see another flash to the north beyond the lighthouse over the sea. I would like you to roll me an empathy check. So when we roll the dice here, we use our stats. You roll a number of dice equal to the number of dice for that stat that you have in your character sheet. And as time progresses in our story, as each hour passes, your available dice pool is reduced. All right.
I rolled 2 dice. I rolled a 1 and a 5.
So for a regular roll, all you need to do to continue to control the narrative is to roll at least a 4 or higher on one of the dice, which you did. You get to introduce the truth about this gift.
I think that as the storm breaks overhead and the water comes down, it kind of makes the paper almost instantly become really like flimsy and almost like wet tissue paper. Even though it's a wrapping paper, it becomes like wet tissue paper, and it kind of comes off in like clods in Gigi's hand as she kind of flicks it away from her.
That paper that you were trying so carefully to keep from harming so that you could use it again in the future, it peels away from a white box that's underneath of it, like skin shedding off a bone. And it's starting to rain now, a little harder. The storm is coming. There's a little awning in the back porch. You can see just rocking there in an old creaking chair. The only other person outside at the moment is Miss Toothaker. And she's just sort of watching you and watching the storm and rocking back and forth.
And the rain makes Gigi's hair start to kind of stick to her skin, but she's got this box and she sees Toothaker on the porch, and she kind of edges around the tree a little bit further so that she can peek inside the box before she makes the sprint towards that porch and the house.
You lift up the top of the box from the bottom of the box, and you just peek inside, and all that's there is a card.
And I think with urgency of someone getting drenched by an end of summer storm, she kind of drops the box away and pulls the card out and kind of shoves it into her t-shirt, and then grabs the garbage bag and just beelines straight towards that porch, and Mrs. Toothaker calling that she should get inside, concerned that Mrs. Toothaker isn't very well from her earlier experiences with her tonight.
She doesn't really seem to respond to your concern. She keeps rocking, and slowly her eyes just kind of drift off to the side, up to you, standing there beside her, and she says, "Oh dear, I should have asked you earlier. I would like it, since it's your birthday, if you would tell me a story."
Sure. But maybe inside it's really raining.
Oh, is it? I hadn't noticed.
Are you sure you're all right? And she kind of holds out her hand to help Miss Toothaker up out of the rocking chair.
She wraps her leathery fingers around your wrist on both sides with her hands and slowly pulls herself up, and she gives you a little pat on your wrist, and she says, "Oh, I'm fine, dear. It's just been a long day and I'm very tired."
Maybe I should tell you the story tomorrow then. Maybe over dinner. Family dinner.
That would be fine, dear. May I tell you a story?
Of course. And she's going to try and guide her into the house.
She just sort of absent-mindedly follows you, still holding on to your wrist, your arm, so that you can guide her towards the back door of the orphanage. She says, "It's a true story, at least. I think so. It's a story about me. Did you know that sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night?"
Sometimes I hear you going to the office.
Oh, it's very confusing. I forget where I am. I don't even know who you are or what all the rooms in the house are. I remember eventually, but every night when it happens and I go back to my room, I lie on my bed, and up above me is this figure, this ghoul with old, wrinkled skin, liver spots on his hands, just smiling down at me. This big white smile. too big. I tell the ghoul to leave me alone, but they just sit there with me until I fall asleep. And at this point, you're right behind the door, and as she's been talking, she started to, maybe unconsciously, grip your arm a little tighter and tighter. Isn't that strange, dear?
Maybe we should call the doctor tomorrow.
Oh, I'm afraid we don't have the money for that. I'll be fine. Just strange.
Has anybody ever gone in your room?
Her hand begins to grip your arm a little more tightly still. No, why would anyone ever do that? It's off limits, Gigi.
Oh, I know. I wondered if maybe you were remembering something, you know? You know how after dark we're not meant to go in the boys' rooms and they're not meant to go in our room? Maybe it's, you know, some past thing.
Maybe. Maybe it's just a bad dream. One that I keep having over and over again.
I have a dream sometimes that I have over and over again.
Is it a happy dream?
Sometimes. But it's not a guy with a big grin smiling down at me. I think I'd rather have my dream than yours. Why don't I make you some tea? And she's trying to like extract her arm from this vice-like grip and kind of push towards the kitchen. In my head, I kind of imagine the kitchen's towards the back of the house, which is why we had the cookout in the yard. And
Absolutely.
so she'll push towards the old stove, which has gas burners, and she'll start kind of trying to make the tea if she can extract herself from this grip.
And she does loosen the grip, and she just says, with your offer, "Oh, that sounds very nice. It's about time to tidy up and get everyone to bed anyhow. But I would love some tea first, dear."
And she springs up onto the balls of her feet beside the cabinet and kind of pulls down the mint tea and starts making tea for Miss Toothaker.
This is the now end, officially, I believe, of your birthday party, Gigi. Everyone else has gone back inside the house, and what I want to do is do one of our montage scenes in this game, which means we get to go around and say, what are we up to at the end of the night before it's bedtime? And we'll go around. If you want to introduce a truth that involves another character, you can, so you can have a scene with them. You can go off and do something on your own. But as Gigi comes in with Miss Toothaker to the kitchen to make some tea, let's go around and start with Travis. What is Merrill doing at the end of the night?
Merrill is annoyed that Miss Toothaker thought it would be fine to just walk on in our room. And after, for the first few months, she didn't really do it. But, coming right in while we were all having a smoke by the window is an issue. And so there's a shoebox under Merrill's bed that he needs to address. But the question is Jacob in the room or not?
That's a good question. Is Jacob in the room?
Jacob, you see, has a bag.
You've got the echo going
Jacob
on.
is God. Jacob's God.
Jacob speaks to you all spooky for a moment. he's like got the cup and he's doing like the Bane voice, just trying to freak you out. No, Jacob is packing a bag, and it is probably like you will see like a couple of bottles of of Coke and a few other bits and pieces, cigarettes, hoodie, bunch of other stuff, and like some snacks. Like he's very much that kid who always has everything in his bag. As he does so, he probably would have mentioned that he thinks because it's a birthday, and this is probably that kind of thing that Jacob really likes to do for everyone's birthday, regardless of whether or not they're on board with it. He thinks it'd be a great idea if tonight Gigi and some friends went for a drink at a treehouse, because that's how you celebrate.
Okay.
So while you're packing a bag, Merrill's is still getting used to only having one eye. And I think as you move around the room, Merrill pulls without thinking that your back is to him, Merrill pulls out a shoebox from underneath his bed and puts it on the bed, and you notice Merrill has a gun, and he tucks a snub-nosed 22 in the small of his back in his waistband, and covers up the shoebox with the lid and puts some of those big 10-gauge rubber bands on it, big thick ones, and puts it under his arm. It's like, so what are you doing tonight? You're packing up? You gonna hit the road? You gonna hitchhike?
There's like a visible pause from Jacob, and he goes over to the window and like lifts up that secret compartment under the windowsill, reaches down into like the insulation which he's picked out to kind of make a hidey hole, and he will reach in, and there's a bunch of things in there. He reaches in and takes something else out, and making sure his bag is actually to Merrill suddenly being aware of this, he takes a switchblade, checks it, closes it, puts it in his pocket, and then turns around and is like, I mean, I don't know, like, you know, I just figured we just, I was gonna, I might head out for a bit, you know, it's super cash.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, let me know if things get crazy. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go do stuff.
Nothing
too.
is crazy.
So
it's chill.
No.
Everything is very chill.
Chill. Who are you chilling out with? Mind my asking?
No one. I mean, maybe a few. It's you know, it's whatever. No, I'm not going to be alone. I'm
just Jacob, son of Isaac, brother of Esau.
You are so funny sometimes. I gotta check it.
It's weird, right?
And Jacob just walks out of the room and stops laughing the second he's out of the room, just like beelines out of the room. Nope.
All right. What else does Merrill do after Jacob leaves?
Then Merrill heads down to do Wren and Gigi, aka Elizabeth, share a room, or does Wren? Do I remember that Wren had a solo accommodation?
No, they share a room.
Share a room. All right, I'm gonna go. Gigi's probably still cleaning, doing her party thing, maybe. So I'm gonna head down there while I can maybe catch Wren.
So, Lydia, what is Wren doing in her room right now?
Wren is in the room. She brought the black cat that was gifted to Gigi, Cullen, up to the room so she could, just pet him on her bed and get ready for bed. She's in her pajamas. She's like showered, even though it was cold because she didn't get like the first shower of the day.
Yeah, the water in this house doesn't last long, at least the hot water doesn't. So you have a very small window and a lot of people fighting for that small window. As you're kind of getting ready for bed, you're in your pajamas, you can hear the tink, tink, tink of rainwater outside. The storm's starting to come down a little bit harder. You hear that rumble. And then the knock, knock, knock on your door.
Yeah? Who's there?
Hey, it's Merrill, Gross from upstairs.
Oh, hi, Merrill. You can come in. I'm dressed.
Oh, all right. That's cool. Merrill shakes his sleeve out and opens it with the inside of his cuff on his jacket, and doesn't touch the knob with his fingers, and goes in and shuts the door with the back of his heel. I got the shoebox under my arm. Yeah, Wren, right?
Yeah, that's my name. Hey, Merrill.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Look, I
Hey.
know we don't know each other too well. Only been here a few months, but how do you spell that? Just like it's like Ren and Stimpy, like REN.
I don't know what you mean. It's with a W. I have a Wren,
W.
like W-R-E-N, yeah.
Like the Wright brothers, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So listen. We were having some fun up in the upstairs. You know, we were. You know, I know they don't want us smoking in here, and so it's kind of a odd open door policy around here. Anyway, so I was just wondering if you would be cool with. I got this box here, and you know, I just need you to hold on to it for me for like a little while, like not a long time, just like, you know, if we could just keep it in here for a little while, that'd be cool. Would you be all right with that?
Well, I don't know what's in the box.
It's just some papers, business papers, stuff about my parents' will, some stuff on the probate, stuff I don't want touched. If I gave you $200 cash, would you hold on to it for me for like, you know, what a couple, like, not long. I'll probably come back for it, you know, pretty soon. I don't want to put you out. It's not a big deal.
Well, I don't think that you'd be putting me out because I have plenty of space in here. I have a whole dresser and I don't really have that many clothes. So I have a lot of space, but if it's important papers, why wouldn't Mother and Mr. Toothaker just keep it for you? Because they're the adults and they understand paperwork more than me.
You know, they are adults, aren't they? They're weird adults. Have you noticed?
Well, I don't really know, because I don't know that many adults. Really, I've been here. They're like some of the only adults that I know. Gigi's almost an adult. She just turned 17. She's a lot different than them, but you know, they're a lot older.
I'll give you $1,000 cash to let me leave this box under your bed till the end of the week.
Right as you say that, there's at the door. Wren,
Yeah?
Gigi, you getting ready for bed in there?
Yeah, I'm just getting ready for bed. I'm about to come up and brush my teeth.
All right. Your sister in there, Gigi?
No, not yet. I think she went upstairs to take a shower. It's probably cold, but you know, it was her birthday and she'd got pretty dirty, you know, out in the gardens. And she got rained on, so.
All right. Well, let me know. Have you seen Jacob or Merrill? They weren't up in the room.
No, I don't speak to them that much.
Wren, I need you to roll cool. I need you to make me a cool roll here. Because this is a bold-faced lie.
Yeah, it is.
So, and for folks watching, cool is staying calm under pressure, convincing others with your personality.
I got a 6 and a 1.
And a 6 is better than a 4. That is good enough for you to introduce a truth here in this moment. What is true? This could be that he believes you. It could be something else unrelated.
He totally believes me because I don't think he's ever seen me and Merrill interact, and he probably knows that Jacob would never be in my room because he's probably off like listening to music. Like he just never would imagine the two of us together.
So there's a long pause beyond the door before he speaks again, and then he says, "You're a good girl there, Wren. If you see Jacob or Merrill, tell them that I'd like to speak with them." And then he doesn't wait for you to respond. You just hear the heavy footsteps of him walking away from the door.
What
Beautifully
were you
done.
saying, Merrill?
Very nice. I said I'd give you $1,000 cash right now to let me keep this shoebox under your bed till the end of the week.
Oh, Merrill, oh boy. You said it's just papers? Why aren't they in a folder? Like, I keep all of my papers in a folder.
That's a good idea. Look, it's some personal stuff of my dad's. You know, my parents, I'm sure you've heard, they passed away. And
I'm so sorry about that. I know my dad passed away when I was just a little girl. I was 8.
Oh, that's
You're so
I'm
lucky
very
that you
sorry
guys
to hear that.
spend that much time with them.
Oh boy. Yeah, you don't know the half of it. I'm just saying these are some, mementos, stuff I was able to get out of the house before, they moved me over here to the orphanage. And so
Yeah.
it would really
I
mean a lot to me if you just hold on to it for me till the end of the week, and then I swear I'll come get it.
Yeah, I have a box of stuff from my daddy too, that I keep, just things from, his car and the house, and I have, this watch. So yeah, I understand. Maybe, if you have a room with somebody like Jacob and you don't know them that well, then yeah, I'll hold it on to it for you. You don't have to pay me. I mean, it's not a job. I'm just gonna put it here. But if it's paper, you should really maybe think about getting like a binder or holder. Just so
I think a safety deposit box or something is the way to go. I'm looking into it. I've made some calls. So, this is just a temporary thing. And from the bottom of my heart, it just means so much to me. I really appreciate it. And let me tell you something. If you ever needed anything, if there was anything you needed me to do, you just tell me, okay? You just, we don't know each other well, but we don't have to. This life is short, and times like this are fleeting, and it just means a lot to me. So you need something done, you need some money, you need something, you don't have, you just let me know. Okay? I
don't really want any money. I don't have the use for that yet because Mother Toothaker and Mr. Toothaker, they give us everything that we need. I would really like to go and see a movie. Like, if you could maybe help me go to a movie, do you think?
You want to go to a movie?
I mean, you don't have to go. You don't have to go too. If you could help me just get there and get a movie ticket.
You want to go to a movie?
Like in a movie theater,
When do you want this to happen?
Like, I don't know, like sometime in the next year, maybe before you leave.
The next year? Okay. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Okay. I tell you what, you get some rest. I'm going to put this right here, right? Just going to slide this under the old bed here. Nobody's going to notice it there. And again, appreciate you. This is a very special thing. And I'm going to make some calls. and you clear your schedule for tomorrow evening. All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. School hasn't even started yet. Okay. I'm free.
You cancel, bingo night with the Toothakers,
They don't play bingo.
No, they don't. They're way too weird for bingo. All right, listen. And he holds out his hand. Listen, Wren, a pleasure. I'm going to get out of here. Won't waste any more of your time. Get some rest and have a great evening.
Merrill, you weren't wasting my time at all.
Hey, Merrill is halfway out the door. He's like, of course not. And again, clear your schedule. Don't make plans for tomorrow night.
Okay, I won't.
Okay. All right. And he leaves like halfway through. Okay, I won't.
Perfect. So here's what I want to know before we move on to the others. What does Wren do with the box?
Nothing. She doesn't touch it at all.
And where was it left in the room?
I imagine under her bed, like somewhere easily accessible but not easily seen. Somewhere that, like, if you were cleaning, you'd dust it or like vacuum, but like not really move anything.
Perfect. Let's go now to Staley. Staley, what are you doing before bed tonight?
So Staley takes one of her cigarettes from her stash and climbs up to the attic crawl space. She takes a pad of paper, a pen, and cigarette and a lighter. She crawls up there and goes to her favorite little spot by the window and unlatches the window and props it open just enough so that there's, an air current. She can hear the rain, and sits down kind of like with her legs propped up, and then puts the notebook on, and she's like smoking a cigarette very close to the window and trying to write. And she is going to write Gigi a little note. And then after she gets done with that and finishes the cigarette, she'll put it out, flick it out the window, and she's going to go attempt to try and put the note under Gigi's pillow. So okay. I don't know who's in the room at this point, but...
Right. So let's start with briefly the attic. Is there anybody else, for instance, would Jay or Jacob, who are still out and about, have any reason to go up to the attic? Okay.
Not unless there was like cleaning supplies to get up there, because Jay's cleaning up after the party. Okay. Jay's got the rubber gloves on.
Okay.
Like,
we'll get to the gloves in a second then. So the storm is coming down hard as you're smoking with that little window. And this attic, it's only 4 feet tall, right? You can't even stand up fully inside of it. So you kind of have to crouch down or kneel down. It's got old toys and boxes of memorabilia that belong probably to children or families past. Cobwebs, it's dusty, and you're writing the letter there before you return to sneak back to Gigi's room. And I need you to roll me empathy, Staley.
Cool. We're still in the full first hour, right? So I don't have to drop anything?
Not yet, yeah. In about 60 seconds, that'll change.
Okay.
So for people who are watching who don't know the mechanics, empathy is social and supernatural awareness in our game. Oh wow!
I'm oblivious.
So this means I get to introduce a truth. You're sitting there writing your letter. You hear another crash of thunder, and it's deafening for a moment, Staley. You hear nothing, just the echo of it across the island, over the sea. The rain's still coming down, but as your ears sort of readjust to the quiet, you hear a scraping sound. It sounds like something scraping against wood. up here in the attic.
Jacob, come on, that's not funny. If you're just gonna come hang out, come hang out. Don't be creepy. Do I hear where it may be coming from?
It sounds like it's from up here in the attic, so it'd be behind you somewhere. And what kind of light did you bring up here with you? Any?
No, I think she would just be trying to like use the light that's still left from outside, the occasional flash of the lightning. I don't think she thought too far ahead, maybe using the lighter every so often just to kind of like breach the pages enough, not light it on fire, but just give her enough light. So I think she's only got the lighter.
Okay. So you don't see anything in the darkness without using a lighter and looking around, but that scraping sound stops for a moment, and then it starts again. It's getting a little louder.
She'll angrily like put down the notebook and like get up from her position and like stand up and kind of like just look for a second and then flick the lighter and kind of just like hold it outwards without moving and just be like, okay, come on, that's not funny. You're actually like starting to scare me now. Come on, what? Can you just come out? I know it's you. And she'll like slowly start walking in a line, like just inching and moving the lighter back and forth as she does.
As you kind of inch forward, now you can hear the creaking of your weight against the wood beneath you as you go through this old attic, and you're waving the lighter around, just little bits of the light, just a small glow. You can see shadows dancing around what looks like maybe an old doll. For a moment, its shadow is almost a humanoid figure cast across the ground. For a moment, there's a hand sticking out of a toy box, and you realize it's just a prop, costume from perhaps a Halloween costume for a long time ago. You keep creeping further, and as you get closer and closer to the center of the attic, you haven't heard that scraping again. I need you to roll me another empathy, and this is a desperate roll. And the light has gone down as the hours ticked forward, and you lose 1 dice from your pool. So for a desperate roll, which have graver consequences if you fail, you need to roll a 5 or higher on one of your dice. In this case, you rolled a 5 and a 6, and a 1 and a 3, but the 5 and the 6 are enough. You get to actually describe the truth here as you're sneaking towards this sound.
So with the lighter still out, I think she would like go towards like straight and then towards the left, which is where she thinks she's hearing the noise, and kind of like starts kicking boxes a little bit, thinking that it's like a mouse or something. And like as she kicks a box, it moves into another box, and I hear the scratching and then like a squeal. Ends up just being one of the stray cats that might have probably got up there with me at some point. And I just kind of like jump back and I scream and like, okay, you should not be up here. Small cat, okay. And then she'll pick it up and go to the little like latch area. I don't know if it's like a door or like one of those climbing things.
I imagine it's one of the climbing things with a hatch.
Yeah, so she'll open the hatch real quick, kind of peek under to make sure nobody's walking by, and then like put the cat down on the ladder to get down, and then shut it again before she like collects herself.
Absolutely. So the cat is Cullen, which has been a long time stray cat for the house. It's a black cat, and they gave it a name tag and a name, and gave it earlier tonight as a present to Gigi for her birthday. And it just kind of hisses at you a little bit, and then it calms down, gives a little soft purr, and then goes down the steps. Does anybody else who hasn't already had a scene want to enter this scene at this point? as Staley lowers the ladder to the attic. Is anybody entering up to the attic or passing by?
Jacob has been trying to find Staley and has been to her room and knows if she's not in her room, she is one of two other places in all likelihood, and this is the first place he goes to look. So like, as Staley like goes to drop the cat down, there's a moment where a cat just like falls from the ceiling towards Jacob, and you just hear from beneath like, shit! Staley!
Hey, Jacob? Okay.
Chuck it down.
Okay, and I'll drop it down real quick, but like super quietly, and have him come
And
up.
like, you know, like just frantically like moving about as he comes up, like rushes up, gets his backpack almost caught in the entranceway, and just take it.
Okay,
Climbs up.
Take it. Oh, it's heavy. What's in here?
Very, very carefully, like, check that I'm not being followed, and then slowly bring it up. Like, I've made loads of noise in that moment, but, like, if I slowly close the hatch, that negates all of it. You okay? You good?
I mean, I'm good now. I heard some noises and found out that it was the freaking black cat. So luckily enough, that's what kind of came at you. But yeah, what's up? What's up? Are you okay?
I need to smoke. And I like crawl over towards, like, actually crawl, don't even like try and stand up, like I crawl over to the window, take out a cigarette, just quickly like strike in, just
Okay, what has gotten into you? Because I've seen you like fiending for a cigarette before, but this is not like you.
I don't actually know where to begin with today. Like, so much shit has happened to me today. Like,
you mean Gigi's party?
No, I don't mean Gigi's party. Gigi's party is not important. Gigi's party isn't as important as the fact that someone threw up blood on me today. Okay? You know, Mr. McGee. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Let me just bring you up to speed of how my day is going. I went to try and get Gigi fucking some what's the stuff that you put on your lips?
Lipstick?
Girls do. Whatever, yeah, I went to buy some of that, and I came out, and, like, you know, Mr. McGinty, the creepy guy, the guy who, like, looks over the fence at the schoolyard?
I hate him so much. Yes, anyways, go on.
Yeah. He was in the store, and he was saying something, and I didn't hear what he said. He said something, I think he said, like, duck? He said, like, duck, and he kept saying duck, and I was like, goose? And then he threw up blood on me all over my fucking Firestar t-shirt, and, like, everything. I think I might die.
Wait, he threw up blood all over you? Oh my god, what did you do with the clothes?
I threw them into the alleyway outside Gross, and I ran back.
Okay,
And I wanted to talk to you about it, like, my plan was like, we'll talk about it, it's fine, because we'll just talk about it after Gigi's party. And I was like, maybe we can go out. And I figured like maybe we could go out and we could go to the lighthouse, or we could go to the treehouse or something. We just go away, we could have a few drinks, and I could forget all about it, and then we'd just be fun, you know, we could just talk about it, and that'd be absolutely fine. But then I'm in my fucking room. Merrill has a gun.
What? You're joking. You're joking.
I throw my cigarette angrily at you. Merrill has a gun.
Like a real gun, or one of those ha-ha guns?
You know what? You're right. I should go down there and just be like, Merrill, shoot me with that. I just need to know if it's real.
Okay, you're being dramatic. Calm down. Breathe.
I'm not being dramatic. I am sleeping in the same room as a pirate who has a fucking firearm.
Okay. Okay. Well, how did he get a gun?
I don't know. Then he walked off, and I
Why is he
don't know where he
here?
is. I don't know. He keeps it in like a shoebox under his bed or some shit.
Okay.
He just whipped it out. He wasn't even like checking if I was in the room. He was just like, better check my gun. And then just like put it in his underpants and just fucking left.
Staley lights up another cigarette and starts cheap smoking it.
Like we're both doing it. Like
Okay. We don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody else.
right.
Okay?
He could be crazy.
No one. Because if anything happens and something goes out of hand, we cannot be responsible. Okay? We cannot be responsible for this. So we don't tell anybody. We keep this between us. And we let him know that we know. And if he pulls any funny business, we'll kick his ass. And hopefully he doesn't pull the gun on us. I think that's our best bet. That has to be our best bet. I mean, what else would we do? He's a teenager with a gun. Do you think he got it from his parents?
I have no idea. Like,
Got it
where in Pretty Much would you pick up a gun?
That's a
Like,
really
it's
good
not
question.
like there's a guy on the street corner who's like, want to buy a gun? Like, this is fucking Pretty Much.
Crazier things have happened in Pretty Marsh, okay? You could probably get a gun everywhere, and we just don't know. We just don't know that. But regardless, we keep an eye on him, because that's real shady. That's
Do you
not
think
cool.
I should get a gun?
No! You having a gun is almost as worse as Merrill having a gun.
I think
Well,
I think at that moment with that revelation, I want to go and bring in Jay. I want to know, what is Jay doing right now at the end of the night after the birthday party? We haven't seen him yet. You mentioned something about cleaning up.
Yeah, so Jay definitely cleaned up after the party. He would have tasked other people to do it, but people seem to have disappeared pretty quickly after the party. And Jay absolutely hates leaving a mess anywhere, anytime. And so he's like kind of not upset, but just like resigned to figuring he's cleaning up. And so he goes, he finds the big Glad trash bags. Don't get mad, get glad. And he's got like the big plastic gloves, not plastic, sorry, rubber latex gloves or whatever, like the dishwashing gloves, right? And he probably cleaned up as much as he could before the rain happened. And what was the last thing that Gigi was doing? She was making...
So Gigi was making tea for Miss Toothaker. So when they come back in after the storm starts, Miss Toothaker goes off into the sitting room, which is in the front of the house on the first floor. And the sitting room is, it's got the nice furniture. It's wrapped in plastic. I think the children don't spend a lot of time in there, but Miss Toothaker sits in there often on top of the plastic. And if you're in trouble, she calls you in there for a talk, generally. And that's where she's sitting now. I think Gigi's in the kitchen making tea.
Now, is this one of those... I'm trying to remember. Is this one of those moments where we say something before we start the scene, or...
So not montage. No, you just get to introduce one
not
truth.
montage. Okay.
That is.
Okay. One truth. Miss Toothaker is definitely singing to herself again. In just like in that sitting room, just not loudly, like just sort of like, you know, when you're singing to yourself. Yeah.
And does Jay speak any foreign languages?
That's a good question. I think Jay is learning Latin. Just because that's where a lot of the scientific names come from, right? So
Okay.
So he's been trying to pick up Latin.
What I'll add is that whatever she's singing, it's not the operatic song she was singing earlier in the day from her bedroom with that record playing, but it's not in English, and it's not in Latin, any Latin that you recognize. It's kind of hard to place exactly what language the song is that she's sort of just quietly singing to herself in the other room. What does Jay do?
Jay sort of passes by and just shivers to himself a little bit, as like, that's a little weird. It's a little weird, a little strange. He's not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Not yet. He suspects he'll have to soon. I mean, I suspect he'll have to soon. And he'll go to the kitchen, probably. That's probably where there's a lot of, like kitchen waste and all that stuff that needs to be tidied up. And I imagine Gigi is there making tea. Jay walks in. Did you enjoy your party?
And I think Gigi is busy thinking about the creepy ass story that she'd just been told, and she kind of jumps as Jay speaks, not really like hearing him come in, and she kind of spins around, cup in hand. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I was just asking, did you enjoy your party?
Yeah, it was real great, right?
Yeah, it was nice. Although, I mean, I didn't expect them to bring like 30 pounds of that pickled crab at the party. That was a little unexpected.
They probably got in on offer. And she kind of turns back to the tea making. Do you want a cup?
Sure, that sounds good. Let me just drop this in the trash can. He takes one of the big bags and probably goes, finds the trash can real quick and drops it, and comes back and snaps the latex gloves off. By the way, I didn't get a chance to during your party. Some stuff came up earlier, and then I had to go get a ton of ice for the Twinkies. But I got you a present for your birthday. I just didn't have a chance to give it to you during the party. Do you mind after this, if you have a moment, we could run up to my room and I could give it to you?
Sure. You didn't have to get me anything. And she kind of pushes her hair behind her ear. Jay, what happened with Jacob? And she kind of waves towards her head where Jacob had been bleeding earlier.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I came in, you know how Jacob likes to play his music very loudly.
Be a dick.
Yes. And I went to ask him to turn it down. He got angry for some reason, and then I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was trying to stand or something, and he tripped and hit his head on his desk. I tried to, if he was okay, because I was worried he might have gotten a concussion from that. But he ran out of the room pretty quickly.
I think a concussion requires brain cells. And she kind of fills up the cup and hands it over to Jay, kind of with the little string tied onto the handle.
Jacob's got brain cells. He obviously wouldn't be able to function without them. Human body does require brain cells.
Gigi rolls her eyes as hard as she physically can.
He can act a little rashly sometimes, but he's not. Well, he's not stupid. Just doesn't always think things through.
Does Jay have the present? Is he holding the present? Like, is it with him right now?
No, it's back in his room. He hasn't had a chance to run back to his room and grab it.
So this time you're having this conversation. I think that tea is starting to whistle. The teapot. The water's heated up, superheated. And at that exact moment, you hear the front door whip open and slam against its hinges. You can hear the howling of the wind outside the front door, the other side of the house.
And Gigi jumps again.
Are you okay? You seem a little bit jumpy tonight.
I just don't like storms much, I guess. You should go and check that. I should get the tea.
Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Let me check the door real quick. And Jay will go and check the door.
I want to know, did Merrill return to his room after handing off the box to Wren?
No, I'm going to the kitchen. I gotta have a. I'm gonna make coffee and take it up to my room. Merrill's one of those guys who can drink coffee and then go right to bed.
Okay.
So
we are now starting a new scene. Our montage is over, and the night is growing later. So this scene is. I'm gonna start with Merrill and then bring in Jay as well. Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. Merrill, what is one truth as you leave Wren's bedroom?
Merrill is giving serious thought to the fact that he has a lot of cash on him, and he's trying to figure out how to handle it. And he's also thinking about when he can take a walk down to the museum, the Gross Historical Museum, because he wants to pay a visit to the guy who currently occupies it, and he's giving that some thought. And he really needs a cup of coffee, and he's irrationally upset that Miss Toothaker just walked into the room. He's sort of like quietly manic with how angry he is about that. And so other than just kind of like what he's going through and the coffee, he's really sort of ignoring everyone else in the room. And that's the truth of it. I don't have anything more exciting than that. Just the fact that his head is, you can see, you ever look at somebody and you can tell their thoughts are very loud, you like hear them thinking. It's Merrill making coffee, and he sings a little song while he gets the coffee maker together. We're traveling on the engine of the Happy Day Express. The letters on the engine say JESUS.
So I guess my question is, coffee maker in the kitchen?
I didn't answer your question. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is Gigi still in the kitchen?
I think she would be, yeah. I think she would be in the kitchen, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you would, before you get to the kitchen, you would cross paths with Jay, who's coming out of the kitchen towards the front of the house, and at the bottom of the stairs there, you would see, just as Jay would see, that the front door is open and sort of rattling against its hinges. can hear the howling of the wind outside.
We really are going to need to get that door fixed.
Yeah, you know, I probably can do something about it. See what's going on here. Merrill goes over and shuts it, closes it. Okay, and looks over at you like, "What are you up to, Screaming Jay Hawkins?"
Screaming Jay, what? I think that's
What?
a play on a bird.
It's not. I put a spell on you.
I'm
No?
not familiar. No.
No? Gotta get you. We gotta broaden your musical horizons here, brother.
I am perfectly content with my current musical horizons. They are very proper, I would say.
To each his own.
But
Merrill.
I've just finished cleaning up, and I was gonna go close the door because it just decided to open for some reason, storm and being broken and all, and I've been trying to get Toothakers to fix it for months, and it has not been fixed.
No, they're not.
But-
They're not. No.
Well, someone's going to have to fix it.
Watch this. I've got a really cool idea. Check this out. And he hauls a chair over and puts it under the doorknob, hotel style. There you go. That's a good temporary fix right there. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Coffee? I know it's late. Do you drink coffee late?
No, I don't. I don't drink coffee at all.
No?
It messes with my biorhythms. It's bad. My heart.
Biorhythms. Fascinating stuff. All right. Well, that is where I am headed.
Well, Gigi's in there making tea, so you'll probably see her in there.
Leave the room.
I'm actually also now heading back there because you fixed the door. Oh,
Jay,
I am no longer in the room.
Jay, roll me smarts, and remember to subtract 1 from your poll.
I mean, I don't know why I'm even looking at it. I know what my smarts are. That is 3 6s. Wow, please don't let me have used them all up.
So what I want to know, and this is you get to introduce a truth here. I want to know something about the door, why it opened, or anything.
Oh, I think that Jay probably goes over to look a little closer. He's not 100% confident in Merrill's quick fix to the door. And I think the lock is probably busted out, more so as if someone had way more than what wind could have done. It looks like when you go to break open a door and you kick the door right by the lock and it just busts the lock right there. It looks like it's almost been kicked in.
Okay. And so the lock is actually dangling out of the door.
Yeah, the lock is just absolutely, yeah. Locked.
What I'll add is that caught in that lock is a shred of cloth that Jay would recognize as having the same pattern or material and color as Miss Toothaker's dress that she was wearing all night.
Jay looks into the sitting room. Is Miss Toothaker still in there?
You think for a moment you can hear her song, but when you look in, she's not there, and there's nobody singing.
Oh no, not again. I'm going to have to take care of it. I'm going to have to tell someone. Okay, let me go tell Gigi, and then I guess we'll have to go tell Mr. Toothaker that Mrs. Toothaker has I don't know what. I don't. First things first. Go tell Gigi. Then we go tell. And then Jay will go and step into the kitchen.
Okay. So because it's not the front of the house and the kitchen are in the back of the house, so there's rooms and hallways.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a twist, turning. And let's go back to Merrill. Merrill, as you're walking off, leaving Jay in the middle of a sentence, you go through the hallways. You can hear the sound of maybe cupboards opening and closing from the kitchen. Sounds like somebody's in there. But as you turn that last corner before the kitchen door, which is shut, it's sort of a swinging door, you see a tall man in a raincoat, wet, hood up, back to you, just sort of standing in front of the kitchen door. You can just make out the back of the head, maybe Mr. Toothaker.
How close is this individual to me?
Other side of the hallway. You just turn the corner and they're standing, maybe listening, it's hard to tell, right outside the kitchen door.
It's just like, Merrill kind of stalks a little bit. Merrill's gotten good at walking very quietly to get across the house without alerting his parents. And so I'm just going to walk up on this dude, on cat's paws, try to get right next to him. And
what's the intention?
I'll lean in and be like, "What are you doing? What are they doing?"
Roll me smarts.
Okay.
You'll subtract 1 from your dice pool.
All right. Okay.
This is a desperate situation.
If the guy's creepy, that's cool. His smarts are 3 in 2010, so I get to roll 2. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Fantasy Grounds is thinking about it. Someone may want to. Oh, wait, no, it's thinking. The suspense is killing us. Here we go. Do it. 10. I got a 6 on.
So as you creep up on the man or the figure, what's one truth about them?
It could pass. This person could pass for Mr. Toothaker. There's no reason for Merrill to believe really that it's not Mr. Toothaker, other than maybe he hasn't seen him in this particular rain slicker before. But it's not the point. He matches the height and build of Mr. Toothaker, who maybe of the two of them, Merrill is less annoyed / creeped out by the Mr. Toothaker rather than the missus.
The figure doesn't.
So there's no reason for me to be afraid of this guy as I
get
right on him and be like,
not at all.
What are you doing? What are they doing in there?
Doesn't answer you, but there's just a slight turn of the head. You just get a flap of the side of the hood there, and then they move into the kitchen very gracefully, without much up and down of their body. They don't extend their arm. They just kind of roll through that swinging door, and through the door on the other side, you can glimpse Gigi in the kitchen. That door starts to swing back shut.
We're all walking. I'm making coffee. Hey, Gigi, Mr. Toothaker, coffee. Who wants? Merrill imports free trade coffee because he drinks the real stuff, not these goddamn Folgers crystals nonsense that the Toothakers buy whenever they go to Gross. So he reaches in the back of the cabinet. Can I interest anybody in some fresh roasted Nicaraguan coffee beans? Delicious. Anybody?
What's Gigi doing as Merrill enters the kitchen?
I think Gigi is over by the sink, doing some washing up. Or at least that's what she's pretending to be doing, but what she's actually doing is letting the water run while she's pulling that envelope out to try and have a peek at what's in that card that she'd found. And then she'll hear Merrill and kind of freeze in place, the water still running.
Does she actually open up the card?
Yeah, I think she was opening up the envelope to look at the card.
Yeah, it's a plain white envelope, unmarked. Plain white card, no balloons or anything on the outside of it. And you just open it up to the inside, which is 2 plain white pages with a single word. And you just glimpse that word the moment before Merrill startles you. Lowercase letters, no punctuation. The word is soon. And then Merrill's there.
And she freezes in place with this card in her hand.
Very distracted. I get the coffee going, get the filter going. Then I glance over my shoulder. Do I see you holding the envelope and card?
I think as you move kind of through the room, she kind of tries to tuck it under something, maybe like the chopping board or something to the side. She just like wedges it under and goes back to pretending to be washing up.
Gigi, how was your special day? You know, another trip around the sun. It's a big time. Lovely party. What do you think? How do you feel?
I mean, I feel like 50 gross bucks. She smiles,
Hey.
but it's not entirely convincing.
Well, it's the last minute, and I'm thinking of doing like a movie night. What do you think? We should all
movie
go to the
night?
movies. Yeah, I'll get the car, send the car come down, take us all to the movies.
You mean leave the island and go to the movies?
Oh Christ, is there not a movie theater on the side? Godforsaken rock.
There's not.
I mean,
you have to go
set
to
up the
Bangor.
projector at school
God, I hate
sometimes.
this place more and more every day. Okay. Yes. The car would come, pick us up. We would go to America, which is a country that we live very close to, and it has theaters in it. And you go and you eat popcorn and watch what passes for entertainment, and then you go home.
It's at that moment that Jay enters the kitchen as well.
I think that Miss Toothaker, I don't know, that door opening looked a little
Is
bit
she okay?
closer at it. I don't know. She was in the sitting room, singing to herself when I walked by earlier. And when I went just now, she wasn't there. I looked at the door and it looked like it had been busted open. And it looked like a piece of her dress that she'd been wearing today was caught in it. So
Oh my
I
God,
mean,
and
my only assumption is that
Gigi is going to start moving in panic mode hearing this because she's convinced Miss Toothaker is really sick and is like, oh, fuck, she's lost her mind. She's gone out in the storm and is just going to try and move past the two boys and just hurry towards the front of the house.
Merrill, there's 4 figures in this room. There's the 3 of the kids, and then there's that figure wearing
There's a guy standing there.
standing back to you, looking out through the back door.
So Merrill hears this about torn dress and busted door and whatnot, but is looking at the coffee maker. He's doing the thing where he's got one hand on it, he's pushed the button, and he's giving this a lot of thought because now they're saying that someone busted in the door. Toothaker's torn dress is stuck there somewhere. We have a situation, but there's an individual in a raincoat that I do not recognize standing right behind me, and I wait for the two of them to leave the room. And then as the car
So,
moves,
where does Gigi go?
I think she kind of throws down the drying rag she'd had kind of on the side with her, and she's just going towards the front of the house with the plan of going out the front door to look for Mrs. Goodacre.
What about Jay?
Jay just kind of looks, and I'm going to go tell Mr. Toothaker. I'm sure he'll want to know.
Can I
And
use
Jay
my
will-
boon really quick, Don? Sorry, Tommy. Just
Yeah.
to say, Gigi
no,
doesn't
okay.
see that figure, and that's the truth. She doesn't see the other dude in the room, and
Absolutely,
she's
I love
just going straight through the house to the door.
All right, and where was Jay heading?
Jay had. Wait, sorry. Did Jay see the other figure?
Roll me an empathy check.
All right. Because let's say it's real interesting if I can't see it either. Oh boy. That's gonna be
This
a
is
big
a
old
desperate
one.
roll. A 1?
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's gonna be one dice. One dice. That's
Okay,
3.
so you need to get a 5 or a 6.
Yeah. That's a 3.
Yeah. Gigi doesn't see the figure, but you do now. You didn't see them before when you first came into the room, but just like with Merrill, you see a figure wearing a raincoat, hood up, covered, wet, tall, standing there in front of the kitchen door. And unlike Merrill, you notice that they're not standing so much as they are several inches off of the floor. Their feet just stuck in the air.
Oh my god, is this a cool role I have to do?
Yes. This is cool. And this is a desperate situation. And Merrill right now is like going to talk to this figure, right?
yeah, like turning to address. Yeah, I'm
right.
taking a breath to speak to this person.
I think depending on how Jay rolls here, we'll see how he responds.
You'll need a 5 or higher here.
That is not a 5 or higher. Jeez.
So here is the truth that I will introduce. Jay, you're frozen. Maybe you're trying to say something before Merrill gets to the figure. But whatever words you have, whatever thoughts you have are jumbled in your brain, words caught in your throat. And Merrill, as you step to speak to the figure, there's an incredibly loud siren from the north. It's the siren of the old decommissioned lighthouse. And you see that light turn on. And just like many times when the lighthouse turns on, it always shines its light in one place. That light shines directly onto Seawall Orphanage. And as it does, Merrill, you see the figure's face beneath the hood. It's the face of your father. Do you want to describe what Merrill's father looks like?
Merrill's father looks like James Garner, mid-'80s. Thick neck, broad-chested, maybe a cleft palate scar on his lip. Merrill hates this individual with a black, icy passion, and Merrill puts his hand. Merrill is wearing a short sleeve white button up shirt, open neck with no tie, black slacks with a belt, and a light jacket like you would wear to go out. And he takes his right arm, puts it behind his jacket, and I want to walk around to get a better look at this individual and even stand in front of him, because I don't think Merrill believes his eyes. Because Merrill knows it's not possible for this individual to be alive.
Roll me a cool check, Merrill. Subtracting one from his pool. And just like with Jay, this is a desperate situation. Now, Jay, because you failed your desperate roll, your cool is reduced by 1 for the rest of this session.
I got a 2. It should be pointed out that Merrill at this stage in his life doesn't have a lot of cool. I have a 1. So it's not that you don't have the bravery to do this, or that your fear or anxiety gets the best of you. It's that the closer you get, the more you're sure it's him. You can hear something just barely under his breath, almost like not even a word, but a noise. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Yeah.
But the closer you get, the more it looks like him, and not like him when he was alive. It looks like he looked like after they made him look nice for his funeral. Makeup, stitches, leathery face that's peeled back tightly.
Merrill pulls the gun out of his waistband, lets it fall slack to his side in his right hand, and like closes a little bit of distance with this guy, but not by much. It's like, tack what, fucko? Tuck my sheets in? What do you want me to do now?
I'm going to cut away here in this moment. I want to go upstairs. I want to go to Wren. Wren, did you return to sleep? Did you go to bed after your conversation with Merrill? Did you stay up waiting for Gigi?
What time is it?
So I would say for you, it's probably about 10 o'clock now.
Oh boy. I'm gonna try to stay up for Gigi. I'm gonna be in bed, like ready to like go to sleep though, but I want to talk to Gigi about our party.
Absolutely. So as we begin, before I ask you to introduce a truth, and I'll introduce a truth, I want to know is she sort of up in her room by herself? She's had this interaction with Merrill. What's rolling through young Wren's head right now? What's she thinking about as she waits?
I think that she really took to heart that Merrill had this shoebox full of like memorabilia from his dead parents, and she probably went out and got the box full of stuff that like was given to her from like everything left over from her dad, which was just like very few things, like a few CDs and like maybe like, I don't know, like a planner and just some other stuff from his house. And she just is kind of like thumbing through it.
And what's one truth about the scene as we come back to her?
So all of the CDs that they found from Wren's dad, like Wren's dad was just kind of a normal guy who like grew up on the island and like was just like an unsuspecting guy, had like a regular job. But all of his CDs were like old like punk bands. So that's like what she's thumbing through is those, and that also makes her think of Jacob a little bit because she noticed when he moved into the house, like the songs that he was playing were the older songs that he played were songs that her dad had listened to and that she could find on those CDs. But she never takes them out of the box to listen to because she doesn't want to ruin them.
So the rains died down, the storm's blown past quickly. You hear some commotion downstairs, but it's quiet besides the creaking of wood in your room, and you have that nostalgic feeling as you're going through all of those old things that belong to your parents that you've still held on to, and feeling the connection that the other children have maybe to their parents, or so you think. And my truth is that it's surprisingly, even alone, it's surprisingly emotional. Mm-hmm. That Wren is feeling more open and vulnerable maybe than normal when that siren sounds, that loud noise from the north, and then the lighthouse turns on and shines its light directly into the house. And when it does, it hits more than anywhere else in the house, the children's bedrooms. All of your bedrooms. So that light, that blinding light, comes straight in through your window and fills the entire room with this piercing color. It's kind of hard to see
I think when that happens, she might be used to it at this point because she's been here for so long, and the lighthouse had been malfunctioning for probably as long as she's been here. So she kind of just covers up her eyes, and she's afraid that someone would come up and check on her. So she quickly closes the box and stores it under her bed. She doesn't want anyone to know that she gets emotional over that still. And then I think she just covers herself up in her bed and maybe looks at the door and hears if she can hear Gigi's footsteps. If she doesn't hear anything, she might even try to creep out of the room into the hallway a little bit to see if she can hear where the other kids are. I think she's feeling a little lonely and
yeah. Okay, I think that's interesting. So I don't think Gigi's returning to the room. So it's just, and that light doesn't turn off. It's really hard to, even though you're used to it, it's really hard to feel comfortable. It kind of gives you a headache.
Yeah.
So but as you sneak out to the upstairs hallway to see where the other kids are, where everyone else is, I want to go back up to the very top of the house, to the attic. And I imagine this argument about what to do about Merrill and his gun and whether or not Jacob should get a gun of his own just to be safe. This has been going back and forth, and then that siren, and then that bright light comes shooting through the smaller window in the attic. It casts almost like a spotlight through, a ray of light through the attic, hitting the back wall. And you can hear that piercing sound. And both of you can also hear a lot of noise coming from downstairs.
Oh, God, I hate this. I love the lighthouse, Jacob, don't get me wrong, but I hate the siren. This is awful. Okay, do you hear the commotion going on downstairs? Should we probably see what's going on?
What if it's him? What if he's like
You're scary, Jacob, again.
You're echoing again.
You're echoing again.
What if it's him? What if he's gone nuts?
Do you really think that Merrill would choose Gigi's birthday, the day of all days, to freak out like this?
No. I think
I'm
reconsidering a lot of stuff that I know about Merrill, okay?
Yeah, fair. Okay, just stay here. And I'm still holding your backpack for some reason, so I drop your backpack.
I take it you hear something there's definitely some glass in there that clinks, and I check it real quick, and I'm gonna
attach and peek. I'm gonna just lift it up enough to peek to see if I can see anything or hear anything a little bit better.
Yeah, I would say from the attic, you would be able to see maybe not on the third story, but on the second story, because you can kind of see over the rail, Wren kind of peek out and look around.
I'll shut it real quietly for a sec and then look over to Jacob. It's Wren. Should I invite Wren up here
get Wren up here? Get Wren up here.
Okay. And I'm gonna lift the hatch again and be like, Wren. Psst.
Wren, I want to say as you're peeking around and you look up and you see Staley's head popping down from the attic through the hatch, you also see at this point Gigi down below at the bottom of the stairs. Gigi, you were going to check on the front door, right? So what's Gigi doing?
I think maybe she stopped by the bottom of the stairs to grab her shoes. I imagine there's a cupboard under the stairs where all the shoes are kept. And she's kind of gone in there to grab her shoes, her wellies or, I don't know, water shoes, because she's about to go out into a storm. So maybe she sat on the bottom, hurriedly pulling on boots.
They're are they rain boots?
Yeah, rain boots.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the American for welly, sorry.
Rain boots.
Rain boots, yeah. So we're simple peoples in America. Wren, you see Gigi down below at the bottom of the stairs, sitting down, sliding on her boots. You see Haley pop out, Wren, from above. What does Wren do?
I think that I would walk near the attic, but I'd be like, "Psst, Gigi, where are you going?" Like she's nuts. Sly. She wants to know where she's going.
Yeah, Gigi, you would hear when Wren whispering to you, Birdie whispering to you from the story above, like over the rail.
And I think Gigi kind of starts in a whisper, then realizes she doesn't know why she's whispering, and she's like, "Mrs. She's gone out in the storm. I'm just gonna go get her. I think she's losing her mind."
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go up to the attic.
Why?
I'll tell you when you get back.
Don't get
And then
caught.
I think that she'll just like scurry up to the attic.
All right, let's stay with Wren then, as she gets the stairs.
I'll open the hatch once I see her like actually approaching. Come on, hurry! You gotta hurry, little one. Come on.
Okay. And she'll like scurry up the little attic stairs as fast as she can, like clumsy and probably weird.
I will like reach down and like help pull her in. Like we just like wrench her into the attic, quickly close the attic door.
Hey, Wren. Hey, how's it going? Weird question. What's been going on downstairs?
What do you mean? The light from the lighthouse is shining in the bedrooms like it does.
Yeah, no, we heard the siren, but I'm talking about, has anything seemed weird? Has anyone seemed off to you?
Well, Gigi said that Mother Toothaker is, she wandered outside into the rain and she was gonna go and get her because she thinks she's losing her mind.
What?
Is she missing?
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't know if she's missing so much. I didn't ask a lot of questions because I wanted to come up here.
Oh god, Merrill's killed her. Oh god.
Oh, and I hit
window.
Jacob, like I punch his shoulder before he walks away. Okay. Has Merrill been weird? Did Merrill do anything weird after Gigi's party? Have you seen him since?
I talked to Merrill for a minute. He kind of just talked about his parents a little bit. And I asked if he would take me to see a movie tomorrow, and he said that he would. I haven't seen a movie since I was so little.
That's really exciting.
What?
I look at Staley and I like on her shoulder and I'm like, she can't go to the movies with him.
Yeah, you're right. So wait, you said that Merrill's gonna take you to the movies? Did y'all have a conversation? Did he come to talk to you? Did he offer that to you, or did you ask?
I asked him. He just asked if I would look after some things of his, and I said that I would. It's nothing much, just some keepsakes that I think he didn't want to keep in his room. I don't know why. I didn't ask him.
What do you mean keepsakes?
Oh, just like some sentimental things, like he, how his parents died. Also, my father died, so he just let me. He just asked if I would keep them safe, and but I said that I would.
What did he give you?
I didn't look. It says private. It's
Where did he
private.
put it?
I wouldn't want anyone to look at my keepsakes.
I'll take Wren and put my hands very gently on her shoulders and just look at her straight in the eyes and just be like, Wren, where did he put whatever he gave you? Or where did you put it? Where is it? If you tell me, I will give you extra money to go get the largest popcorn at this movie you can ever think of. But this is extremely important that you tell us where he put whatever he gave you.
I think that Wren kind of like shakes and like backs off because she's been offered money twice today. And like, you don't offer money to like orphans. Like, we don't have that.
Okay.
Wren, this is serious. What did he give you? Like, was it like a hoodie? Did he give you like I don't know, like some CDs? Like, what are we talking about here?
It's just a little shoebox, the same size.
Oh,
of,
fuck
like,
me.
Was it heavy?
How heavy was it?
It's heavy-ish. It's heavy-ish.
I didn't pick it up. He just put it away where I told him that I had some space, and then he asked if I would keep it for him a while. He said it was some documents as well, and I urged him to get a binder and a folder because that's how you get bends in your documents.
You're so right.
You really shouldn't have them creased because, like, if you have to fax them or if you have to mail them, like, you really shouldn't have a lot of creases in them. So
yes,
I urged him to get the folder.
When
he said that he would take me to the movies because I didn't want any money, and I don't know why you're offering me money.
I'm okay. Wren, you're so good. You're just such a good bean, and we don't want to put you in any predicament where you feel like you have to do anything you don't want to do. So why don't you just pretend this never happened? Everything is okay. And just please let us know if Merrill does anything weird, because we think something is going on with Merrill.
I think you're all acting a little weird if you want to know.
Fair. You know what? I'll give that to her. And I look over at Jacob when she says that. You know, I'll give that to her. Okay.
Let's move. No, go ahead.
And then I'll just walk back to the window for a second and just sit down and like look out the window.
And speaking of weird, let's go back down to the kitchen. Merrill, we left off with you and Jay kind of frozen for a moment, staring down at the feet, you approaching this rain-slicked figure as the light from the lighthouse catches the window just enough to illuminate the face of your father. And you reach for the waistband for what exactly?
Well, I reach into my waistband for the 22.
Is it still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, I took it out of the shoebox. I put it in my waistband. I sealed the shoebox and gave it to Ray.
I just wanted to confirm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, he's got a gun, and so he pulls it, and I like to think that there's like an island in this kitchen. And if he's got his back to the coffee maker, I'm like coming around the island and I'm like looking at him and I'm coming around to get in his face. And I've got the gun in my right hand and I got it at my side. And what I want to do, just to talk rules here for a second, because I got a bunch of shit to say to this guy, but also he's basically going to forget that Jay is over there. And I want to pass the spotlight over to him so that I can indulge in my vices.
Yes, absolutely.
So I've got a bunch of shit to say to him first.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with the spotlight. And this is something we haven't done before. This is one of our mechanics. So I'll read this off here for people who are watching. Once per session, a player may give the spotlight to another player at any time. The player with the spotlight shares their character's current thoughts, feelings. It could be a memory with as much detail as they want. And once a player has given the spotlight to somebody else during this session, they get to re-roll one failed attempt to one failed check. So by giving this to Jay, you don't get to activate your vice, but you do get a reroll before the end of the session. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And then Jay, after we do this, you will have access to your highlighted trait, and you can give into a vice, which if it comes up, we'll explain that too. So let's start with the spotlight here. Travis is giving Jay the spotlight. Jay, you're frozen there. You're looking at the feed. What is going through his head, or what's a memory that might be relevant here? What do you want to share?
I think that there is a particular memory. I think that Jay is just like, what the hell is going on in his mind? But I think there is a particular memory, and it's of a different stormy night. And this figure sort of reminds him. Jay was raised by his mother until he was 10. And for some reason, he doesn't know why, the pastor, what was his name? Pastor. He had a really great name. It was a great name.
You did have a great name. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
Great name.
I have it. I'll pull it up here.
Father Silas Hawkins.
That's
Father
right.
Silas Hawkins, the father who travels between the small islands around here to do mass. For some reason, I mean, Jay doesn't know why, but either didn't had some sort of beef with his mother. That's the best way to describe it. Had something against his mother, and he remembers his he grew up in a pretty small house. Like, they just had a simple, maybe like 3-room house, like kitchen, living room area, small kitchen, living room area, bedroom, bathroom, right? Like, small house. And he remembers being in the living room one night. He's probably 5 or 6, and there's a knock. There's a storm raging outside, and there's a knock at the door, and the father shows up for some reason during the storm. It's evening time at this point. He just remembers his mother yelling at the father. He doesn't remember exactly what about. And then his mind goes to that crab must have been spoiled, and this is clearly the after effects of having eaten food that's been pickled and gone bad, and I'm hallucinating right now.
That thought crosses your mind, Jay, but there is something familiar about that raincoat. It looks a lot like the raincoat your father wore during that argument. Maybe that's why it's so familiar. Merrill, you can do what you like here.
I've got the gun. It's at my side. I'm coming around the island. I'm like looking at him. Like, you took my eye, you son of a bitch. They can't save it. I'm going to be blind, my left eye, for the rest of my life. You know what I got? I got your fucking Rolex. You know that? I got your Daytona. What do you think of that? And and guess what? I'm going to get all of it in 6 months. At 18, I get everything. The whole show. I get the boats. I get the mill. I get the whole shooting match. I come around to the front of him, and it stands to reason that Jay, being behind him and I'm now facing Jay on the other side of this parked figure, Don, if that's acceptable. And so I raise the gun up to my waist. I'm like, I'll do it again. Did you come here to let me do it again?
You still hear that, but there's something, his mouth can't quite open all the way, and he's staring out through that back window, not at you. He's staring right into the light, and his retinas, whatever color they were in life, now they're this pale blue. and he slowly reaches up a hand. It looks like he's gonna give one of these like a shush, but he actually sticks his hand into his mouth and he pulls away stitches inside his mouth slowly and spits them out. I need you to make me a cool check.
Yeah, buddy. Gonna fail it. 4.
And we are in a final hour. You get to introduce a truth here.
Merrill is an enthusiast in the study of the afterlife, particularly the mythology and supposed truths revolving around hell, and has done a lot of research. And you ever get so angry and so scared that you start to lose your breath and your knees go weak and you basically have a little micro panic attack? And also maybe his dad, maybe they got in a fight and I hit him in the mouth and gave him stitches in the mouth, and I know exactly what wound that is that he's pulling, and I really got a hold of him one day, and like he cut himself on his teeth, you know, on the inside. And so yeah, no, but he basically, you know, I don't know if I passed that cool roll or not, but
you did. Yeah, 4 is good enough.
I did. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I put the gun to his head because I think he's from another place. I think I know exactly where this monster is from. And I'm like, what are you? You're not my father. My father is very dead. What are you doing here?
Once he kind of tongues the rest of those stitches out of his mouth, they kind of fall off of the front of his lip. He just whispers, "Me, him, Kandalak. Me, him, men and toe. Tak, tak, tak." And he starts to turn a smiling face to you. Roll me a cool check.
He's horrified, you know.
And tell me, and this one's a desperate situation.
That's a 2.
Perfect. Tommy, how do you react in this moment?
Okay, is Jay like unfrozen at this time?
Yes. Yeah. After your spotlight, we'll say.
Jay and Jay sees this thing. And Jay,
exactly like him. You witness exactly the same thing.
Okay. I'm guessing I don't have a clear view of Merrill because, as we said, as Merrill said, the guy's between me and Merrill, and I think Jay is clearly like he's fairly certain that there is someone there, that the floating thing must be something caused by eating some bad pickled crab, and that, you know, he's having some slight. So he's going up. Okay, I don't know who you are or what you're, and he's like going up to like try and turn this person around at this moment.
This is a tall figure in a slick, wet raincoat. I'm gonna need you to make me, I guess, a grit check.
Oh God, do I want to succeed? I probably want to succeed this. Okay, I'm gonna give into my vice here.
You're gonna do it. Yes. Okay. So here's how this works for people watching too. So they know, all of the characters have highlighted traits. One of their traits is highlighted. When they've received the spotlight, after that, during the current session, they can give into a vice to turn their highlighted trait into a 5 for one roll. So in Jay's case, it's grit. They kind of have to describe how they give into their vice. Now, Jay, even though it's a 5, this doesn't mean you roll 5d6. You'll roll 3d6 because of the hour. But please
All right,
describe what this means.
There is a loud
So-
pot of coffee brewing right next to you, by the way.
Is it like
Probably.
rattling at this point? Like,
That's right.
Yeah.
and the storm's blowing outside. Oof. So Jay, Jay is very. He can be very authoritative to the point of being domineering at times. You know, he generally expects. He's one of the older kids here. He is, you know, he generally assumes that he is right all of the time. And so he can be a lot of domineering, but in that kind of like way that's like it's not completely obvious, but so that is the vice he's giving into right now. Like he does not like the situation, whatever's happening, and he's going to put it into a place that he can deal with it. Like he doesn't like whatever happens.
He's taking control.
He's taking control of the situation.
Perfect.
3D6.
All right, give me the grit roll. This is a desperate roll.
That's a 6.
You get to name one truth as you succeed here. What is one truth as you go to do this?
Is Merrill? Well, I'm curious. Like, can this truth can involve the other character, or something the other character does?
Absolutely.
Or...
It could be something, an entirely different scene. Truths can be whatever you want them to be.
Is Merrill gonna fire the gun? Is a question. Yes. Okay.
Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I mean, it's pointed at you.
I think Merrill gets a little itchy with his trigger finger. And it's a light, you know, the trigger's a little bit lighter than maybe Merrill thought it was. The amount of poundage required for it is a little bit less than Merrill thought it was, and he shoots. And I try to decide how I don't this isn't gonna kill Jay. I'm not gonna kill my character. But
I got shot in the head like that.
but if you're shooting him in the head, it's probably not gonna hit Jay. Right?
So I also have a truth because Merrill
Okay.
failed his role. So let me add to this.
Okay. Okay,
So
yeah.
he
I
here's
think
how
my
the scene
truth is that he gets itchy with the trigger finger.
he
That's
gets
my-
itchy, and what I'll add to it is that you grab this figure's shoulder as he's smiling and whispering to Merrill, and Merrill's putting the gun up to his head on the other side. And when you touch his shoulder to turn him around to take control, there's nothing beneath the raincoat. The raincoat just crumples and falls away. And in that moment, as this figure in front of you, Merrill, is there one moment and gone the next, smiling at you, your father, and then just a pile of wet coat falling through the air. You pull back and you pull the trigger, and I'm gonna say you shoot Jay in the leg on accident.
Whoa! Jay immediately just lets out a scream, just drops to the floor.
I want to come back here in a second, but one of the things I need to know is, did Gigi leave the house?
I would like to think, kind of based on how long I imagine this actually took, she's got just to the front door as the gun goes off behind her in the kitchen. And then, obviously, Jay's scream.
And we'll say that the siren outside, that lighthouse siren, if you've never heard a lighthouse siren, please watch the movie The Lighthouse, because it is unstoppably intense. But there are breaks, right? And there's one of those, just a short break before the siren begins again. And in that short break, you all hear the gunshot from downstairs in the kitchen, and at the exact same time, the lighthouse, its direction that it's shining in, that's stopped on the orphanage, it shifts away from the orphanage and deeper into the woods to the southeast, which sometimes it does. It always seems to only go one of two places when it's turned on. But you all hear that gunshot from downstairs in the kitchen all at the same time.
And then a scream.
And then a scream. Very loud scream. So here's what I want to know. Who is running, who's going to the kitchen? Is anybody going to the kitchen? Wren? What about Gigi?
I think Gigi would. I think she'd be like caught at the door and she'd freeze and like be like, that wasn't real. That was some weird ass lightning in the garden. But like hearing the scream, she knows someone's hurt and she'll turn around and run back in that direction.
Like, would I recognize the scream as being like Jay, or would I confuse it for just...
It's definitely, it's not Jacob's. It could be, it sounds like a young man's, right? It sounds like a teenage boy's. I think you could recognize that. Whether it's Jay or Merrill, probably hard to tell.
Yeah, I would go Ren.
I very much tell everyone, like, that little window that's in the attic, like, my first reaction is like, we're going through the window, right? Onto the roof. Like, we can get down out of the house across the roof and then see Wren sort of like start to go down. I'm like, Wren?
We gotta go. No, Jacob, we can't go out the window. We gotta go. We gotta go figure out what that was. That was probably Merrill.
Yes, and Merrill has. I take my switchblade and hold it in my hand. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. No, fuck it. And I reach into my bag, pull out like a shitty little hip flask full of cheap whiskey, and I just down it and throw it onto the floor. And like, let's do this. Let's just do this. It's fine.
It'll be fine.
I think
okay.
Wren just like stops in her tracks whenever Jacob pulls out like a switchblade and a flask, and she's just like,
Wren, we don't have time. We don't have time to deal with this. Let's just go. We gotta go down.
Just get out of the way. Stay behind me. And I'm gonna like go over and climb down.
I full on imagine Jacob just drops down the hatch rather than taking any of the ladder.
No, just like full on like lands, like tries to superhero land, really hurts himself in the process, but just like keeps going.
Yeah.
All right.
Going out.
Everybody's heading on down. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the kitchen then. I think let's see what happens immediately after this. I want to know, what is Merrill's reaction?
So the guy disappears Yoda style, right? His rain slicker is lying on the floor.
Yeah.
Are his boots there, or are we just looking at a poncho on the ground right now?
Just a poncho.
All right. I tuck the 22 in my small in my back. I step forward. I take a knee next to Jay. I'm like, oh my God, that guy got you bad. Look at that. Holy crap. Wow. All right, listen. All right, it's pretty bad, but listen, we're gonna get you taken care of right now. I'm about to call an ambulance. But listen, before I do, here's how this went down. That guy came in here, that guy shot you, and he left his raincoat. This is $1,000 cash, and I tuck a wad of bills in your pants pocket.
Why do you
That guy broke in. I don't know what you're talking about, Jay. That guy broke in here. That guy came into the kitchen. That guy shot you, and he ran off. Are we clear?
I don't want your money now, but you owe me.
You know it. Anything. But we'll get to that. I gotta make a phone call.
Jay.
You sit right there.
Jay, before we continue, I think this is necessary. I need you to make another grit check. And this is another desperate check. You are bleeding. You got shot in the leg. Gunshots are very, very serious things. So this desperate roll.
And yeah, unfortunately, I don't have my I win. I don't have my vice to burn here, so this is just gonna be one die. That's a 5. That's a 5. I'm not dying
All right,
today
so
yet.
What's one truth? What's one truth here?
Okay, I think it's a clean shot in that it went through and didn't hit bone, so it went through. I found like, I don't know, a good part of the leg for it to have like gone through, and like there's like clearly the bullet hasn't gotten stuck in there, and that it's not like hasn't completely screwed everything up in there. It just
The
so
fleshy part of the thigh.
Yeah, the fleshy part of the thigh, like, but not the, but not the artery that's in there. Not that side, the other side. So it's like bleeding pretty bad because he's been shot, but it's not like he's not in danger of dying right now from it. But it is painful, and it is bleeding.
All right. And we'll say that you're also able to stay.
You owe me.
Yeah, absolutely. You and me are in this together, pal. I got, hold on. I got to make a phone call. And I'm assuming that this being an old house, there's a house line and a phone on the wall.
Yeah.
Can I dial it while... Sorry.
Oh, no. What were you going to ask?
Can I dial it while I would like to think that it has one of those long ass cords like my grandparents had, where you can basically cross the fucking house with the cord. And I need to go get a look at what the front door looks like.
Absolutely. So let's go to Gigi now, because I think she was closest. The others are coming from the attic. She was at the front door. Is she going to the kitchen?
So I think her instinct was to run towards the person that needed help, but then her legs and her brain were like, that's dangerous. And it's like that nightmare where you can't convince yourself to run, even though you're being chased, and it's kind of like shaky legs. And then she's like stalking quietly towards the kitchen, listening as hard as she can. And she's looking at everything in this hallway for a weapon. She's like, I could take that picture off the wall and smack the person in the head. That's a bad idea. I could use the umbrella and stab them. And then she kind of gets to the bottom of the stairs and she looks up and she remembers that Birdie's up the stairs and she doesn't know where Birdie is or where anyone else is. And she doesn't know if Birdie came down, and she's like, doesn't know whether to go upstairs or into the kitchen. And she's very scared of going into the kitchen at this point. And she hasn't found a weapon. She hasn't found something that she's convinced could take out someone with a gun. And so she's just kind of like animal in the headlight, staring between the kitchen and the stairs, not knowing what to do, and really hoping Mr. Toothaker shows up and makes it all okay.
As you're kind of lingering outside the kitchen door, you can hear, the thump, thump, thump of feet coming downstairs, and then thump, thump, thump downstairs. But before any of the other children reach you, Gigi, Merrill appears, phone in hand, looking out through the kitchen door, like right in front of you. The kitchen door swings open, and it's Merrill there.
I think she tumbles backwards onto the stairs and kind of crawls up them a little bit, just not gauging it's Merrill, just in total fear response of, oh, there's someone coming towards me, get away response. And she kind of lets out a yelp.
Hey, did you see the guy?
She shakes her head.
No, you didn't see him? Shot Jay, and then he ran out. Hang on just 1 second. Yes, this is Seawall Orphanage. We have a gunshot wound. We had a home intruder, and we've got a individual wounded in the leg. Sure. And he just calls 911.
Okay. And they go through the typical process, believing you.
Mm-hmm.
They get your address. They say, is the intruder still in the house? How does he respond to that?
No, he fired a single shot and then dropped his parka in the kitchen and then made off through the front door. It seems I didn't see him get out of the house because I was in the kitchen. He was threatening me with the gun, and then he shot this other person and ran out.
And I want to say that it's this part of the conversation where Staley, Jacob, and Wren get to the kitchen, like right behind Gigi. So Gigi, you've listened to this conversation with 911, and the rest of you arrive just outside the kitchen with Merrill on the phone right at the end of this, where he explains that the man shot one shot and ran out.
I'm
911
oh yeah. I'm like touching Jacob just on the shoulder the whole time that we're hearing this. I'm like trying to look at him like,
I don't listen. I don't hear it. I just run up and I just kind of like run and like hug into Gigi and just like kind of throw myself at her.
I have my my knife like against my arm, perfectly hidden, like in my head. This is all like in my head, and like I run down to see like Gigi. And immediately, like, I see her on the stairs, and immediately in my head, like, oh my god, Gigi's been shot. So I run down, like, full on freaking out. And then, like, check her over and like, Gigi, are you okay? What?
And I think she's about as coherent as Jacob is, as she's like nodding and shaking, and like she's just stuttering out Jay's name and Merrill's name and Mrs. Toothaker and Mr. Toothaker. She like is just complete incoherency, and then like Birdie's arms around her make it even worse, and she just starts crying, not knowing what to do.
I am gonna 100% like walk towards the kitchen with my knife ready, in the least prepared stance. Like I don't know how to fight, so but I'm walking forward like I've seen in movies. Oh yeah, like full on like shaking, but adrenaline has got me going.
Merrill, you see all this as you're finishing your conversation. 911 tells you that in case the intruder comes back, the police should be there soon, but that you should all get yourselves into a secure room and lock the door and not let anyone besides the police enter.
Okay. I was in kind of the hall on the phone, and I'm sure everybody's in the kitchen.
Well, they're coming towards you. They're coming towards you. You're like blocking them from entering the kitchen right now.
Oh, well, then I'm like on the phone, and I'm like, I want everybody to go in the kitchen if I can get them in the kitchen.
Jacob walks on towards you, but is completely disarmed by the fact that you're super casual about this, and like still holding the knife, but like will peek into the kitchen for a moment.
It's crazy. All right, we'll wait. All right, thank you. Hey guys, listen, Jay's gonna be okay. He took we've had a home invasion. This guy broke in.
What the fuck happened to Jay?
This guy pointed a gun at me, and then he shot Jay. It's bad. Listen, I'm gonna run out in the yard real quick and see if I can't catch this guy. Y'all put a compression on
Where's
Jay's
Jay?
leg.
I know first aid, but fuck you. And I run into the room and to Jay.
I know.
Where's
Paramedics
Jay?
are on their way. So
I imagine, where is Jay right now? Is he on the other side of the kitchen, like behind the bar? They just can't see him unless they get closer.
Yeah, I think he's on the other side of the island, because we had mentioned that there was the kitchen island there. So, but you can hear him because he's like,
Yeah. If I can hear Jay, I would go into the kitchen and try to like run over to him, and
I think that
reluctantly, because like I've never seen anyone bleeding that much, and I'm 14 and scared, but also
I think Gigi would attempt to stop Wren from going in the kitchen because she still doesn't really understand what's going on.
Can anyone get me a goddamn towel?
I'm gonna run to the bathroom and try to find a bunch of towels and just grab like literally a whole arm's worth of towels and just like run through the kitchen and just like plop him down and start like just like almost in a panic, like I don't say anything and my eyes are wide, and just like start like moving things and getting him a towel and like giving him one but trying to put another like under his leg but then over his leg, and like I don't know what I'm doing.
Jay is going to take one of them. Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
I will, like, whilst you're doing all this crazy stuff, I will take my belt and I say, like, this is really gonna hurt. And I will like loop my belt around your thigh. Just shut up! And then I like tie it like really tight around your thigh,
like a tourniquet style thing.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna like elevate your leg because like I learned this stuff in scouts, so like I know some stuff about wounds and stuff. So like I will like start elevating your leg and actually hopefully do an okay job at this. At trying to patch you up.
Jacob, roll me a
I don't want to
grit check.
A grit check?
Yes.
Ah, fuck. Nope. Okay. That is a 1. It is dark. It is very dark out.
Succeed. Please succeed.
There's something about this scene as you're trying to stop the bleeding, tie up the wound, that just turns your stomach. And for a second, your mind flashes back to earlier that day outside of Gross's grocery store when Mr. McGinty threw up blood on you, and you remember that coppery smell in your nostrils, and you smell it again now. It's Jay's. And you feel bile building up. You start to feel dizzy.
I
and
turn
noticeably
and
pale.
I turn and so holding onto the belt, which I've like looped around his leg, I turn and just retch, and probably a mixture of like the fermented crab we had earlier, a little bit of like deep fried Twinkie, and just the cheap, shitty whiskey that I necked before coming down here for like a little bit of courage, all comes up in this like beautiful flambe of wonderfulness. And as I like throw my body into this, like I pull that belt so tight around your leg. So like you're like, oh, and I'm like, oh.
Can I say that as this additional scream comes out of Jay?
What are you doing? You absolute fucking idiot!
Gigi, what do you do here? What's going on?
Gigi is just grabbing a hold of Wren and is going to drag her upstairs towards the Toothaker's office, screaming for Mr. Toothaker the entire way. Because she's like, gotta protect Wren, gotta get an adult, because this is not what we should be dealing with right now.
Wren is sobbing, like just absolutely a wreck, like sobbing, like wants to pass out, just snotting all over Gigi. It's awful. It's a shit show.
Where is
his name?
What's your question, Ray?
Merrill right now.
Merrill's heading out back, right? Through the kitchen door?
Merrill hung up the phone, announced that he was going to go, is in the midst of announcing that he's going to go outside and look for the perpetrator. I'm going to go see if I can't find this guy. Couldn't have gotten far. I'll be right back.
I'm going to follow him outside.
Perfect. So we have, in my mind, we have these 3 groups right now. We have a very pale and just having vomited, probably experiencing something of a panic attack, is Jacob. And Jay is shot and needs medical attention. The pain's intense. It doesn't matter if it was a grazing wound or if it went right through. It's a lot. And then we have Merrill heading out back, Staley's following him, and Gigi, you're trying to take Wren up to Mr. Toothaker's?
Yeah, she doesn't know where he is, so she's just screaming his name, and she's going up to the office. She's like, that must be adulty place in the house.
Not the bedroom, the office.
Which one would be first, Dawn, as she goes up into the house?
Probably the office, right? And the
I think that's where
bedroom
she's
is
going.
usually
Yeah,
locked.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's how we're gonna play this out. Because it's time for the lights to go out, and as we enter the final stage of our session, we play until somebody fails a roll, and when they do, something bad happens, and our session ends for the night. I do want to remind you that you still have access to Spotlight. And I want to start here. Let's start with Gigi and Wren. So the storm has passed and the lighthouse has stopped shining its light in through the windows. It's shifted. It's cast further back into the woods to the south. The siren blares again, and there's some shouting, probably maybe Jay yelling or something else is happening in the other room or outside as you move back through the house, but you can't hear it over the siren because the siren's so loud. You reach the office door and it's slightly ajar. There's just a little bit of a glow from the other side. What's the plan here?
It's not so much a plan, so much as screeching and banging on doors. And just keeping a hold of Birdie and keeping her safe.
You can feel your throat dry as you're trying to scream over top of this siren. What's Birdie doing?
Birdie's sobbing into Gigi and just also screeching. If she hears Gigi yelling for like Mr. Toothaker, she's just like incoherently yelling it too, just inconsolable at this point.
Yeah. Her words probably like not even full. She can't probably not even like fully forming the word Toothaker, right?
Yeah, and like that siren is just like hard to yell over. It's like disorienting, and like she feels just like she can't even be a person.
Jay and Jacob in the kitchen, as you're there in a pile of blood, a pile of vomit, you've tightened that belt around his leg. What do the two of you do?
What is Jacob?
I look to Jay and I say, "What the fuck happened in here?"
Well, you just fucking threw up all over the floor. I'm losing blood.
I'm like holding your leg up as best I can and like trying to like wrap towels, but without looking at it.
There was someone broke into the house. Merrill confronted them, and I came in, and they shot me.
All right. We gotta get in a room that they can't get in.
You're gonna have to drag me there.
All right. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be fine. Like
shot right now, Jake. In the leg.
I am going to start dragging him, and I wanna like I come out and no one's there, and I'm like, fuck. And I say to Jay, and I'm just like, none of the rooms are. We can't lock any of the rooms except Mrs. Toothaker's room. So we'll go there. And I start dragging you.
It's
like
always locked. How the hell are you getting in? It's upstairs, right? It's upstairs, right?
It's on the second floor, yeah. So he has to pull you up the stairs.
How are you getting me up the stairs?
I'm gonna like try and help him to his feet and see if he can hop like with his arm, like taking his full weight.
the one-legged hop.
Okay, so we have the two. You're being dragged up the stairs to the second story, and Gigi and Staley, are you? So you swing the office door open, and you don't see anybody in the office. Just a light on, little desk light. Is there anywhere else that they would go looking? Anywhere they would head next?
If it's on the same floor, go to the bedroom. Just desperate
Which
hunt.
bedroom?
The Toothaker's bedroom.
Okay. Well, I think then if you're coming out of the office, you would probably see like Jacob's like pulling Jay towards the stairs. They're heading in the same direction. Do you go with them?
Gigi. Office. We can lock the door.
And she'll kind of look panicked around, like looking as if hoping Mr. Toothaker will just magically appear. And then when he doesn't, she'll back up and she'll kind of pull Wren to the side and then help Jacob with Jay. Where's Staley?
At that moment, like, it's probably the moment where Jacob, like, realizes that Staley is not, like, with them at all and isn't with you, and, like, freaks out. Can we pass the spotlight to Staley?
Absolutely. So let's set this scene. So that when we hit Staley in her spotlight, it's a little bit more in the moment here. So Merrill, you head out into the backyard. What's your intention here? You can still see the birthday streamers wrecked and tattered from the rain and the wind.
Backyard faces the water, right?
The backyard is towards the lighthouse, correct?
Excellent. Sorry, you finish.
No. So the streamers and all the birthday decorations, half of them are still left out. Things are a mess. The wind has knocked over a trash can, and some of the paper plates used for the party goods have spilled out of the bag, and one of the bags is just kind of ripped open, and things are flying out of it. It's dark. The storm has passed, but the stars haven't returned, and it's still cold. There's a cold wind blowing through the backyard.
Merrill goose steps around all of this mess here in the backyard, the remains of the party, and heads toward the water near the cliffside, and pulls the gun and throws it in the water. Throws it as far as he can.
So you're walking pretty far away from the house then?
Pretty far, but then I turn and come right back because I don't want to be gone long, and I also don't want to leave tracks in the wet ground.
Sure. So Staley, you see Merrill leave through the backyard, leave the backyard and head in the direction of the lighthouse. And right now, the lighthouse is still shining its light beyond your house into the deeper woods. And so it's like a beacon in the dark, and he's walking towards that beacon, not in a straight line, but like in the same general direction towards the water. What is Staley doing?
So I won't do this for the sake of deafening everybody's ears, but just imagine Staley screaming at the top of her lungs. Is Merrill walking away from me or towards me at this moment?
He's walking away towards the lighthouse, in the same general direction of the lighthouse, and that siren makes it so that when you scream, it's just completely drowned out by the sound of the siren.
All right, so I'm gonna be running, like bolting after him at this point, be like, hey, where the fuck do you think you're going? Let's get back here. Come here. And as soon as I meet up with him, I'm gonna grab him by the back of his shirt and whip him around and grab his collar of his shirt and like get close into his face and be like, if I find out that you did this to Jay, I will kill you. And she's just gonna like start shaking him.
So I want to know if she sees him throw that gun, or let's say that he throws the gun before she gets to him, but I want to see that in the dark,
Yeah.
in silhouette, that she's seeing. Roll me a smarts roll.
Okay.
But first,
Okay.
You got the spotlight.
Okay.
Okay. So you're approaching him in the dark, in the shadows. You're far away from the house now. There's just the light of the lighthouse shooting over your heads and that blaring siren. You're shouting, but he's not turning around. You almost are to him at the edge of the cliffside there. But you get the spotlight. What is Staley thinking, or does she have a memory that's relevant here?
In this moment, I think she doesn't have a memory at all, but I think she's thinking that with the conversation that she had with Jacob, with the fact that, Merrill talked to Wren and gave her something weird, the fact that, he's been here the shortest amount of time, like, she has so many conflicting emotions in this moment that I think the only thing that she can muster is just anger, because Staley's been at this orphanage since she was a baby. This is her family. This is her life. These are the people that care about her the most in the world, and she will do absolutely anything to keep them safe. And he is the outlier to her. He is the one who doesn't belong. He is the one who doesn't have any sort of standing in her life yet. So I think just this rage and confusion and passion for her found family is enough to make her go into a rage, for a lack of a better term. Like, she's blinded by everything. The rain doesn't matter. What's going on in the house doesn't matter. It's just she and him, and he's going to know exactly how she feels, and he's going to know exactly what place he's supposed to be put in at this moment. And that's all she can think about.
Perfect. Roll me smarts.
I only get one, so we'll see how this goes.
So you get to introduce a truth here about what she sees or doesn't see.
Me?
Oh, no, Staley does.
Okay.
She doesn't see him throw it into the water because she's so blinded by everything else. I think she only saw, as soon as she got out and started running towards him, I think it was just like keeping him in her line of sight and not really much else of what he was doing or what else was in the environment. So she doesn't see that he threw the gun.
All right, but you grab him and you spin him around.
And I have him by the collar of his throat, and I'm shaking him and looking him dead in his eyes, because I imagine I'm probably a little shorter than you. And I like, you can feel her shaking and just not sure what to say, but just looking at you. And I lock eyes with you for a moment, and I say, if I find out that you caused this, you will never have anyone in this house to rely on. And I'll shove him backwards, and I'll just start walking to the house.
How does Merrill react?
She turns and leaves?
Yeah.
Unless you stop her.
She doesn't even care. She's just going to push you away and then attempt to start walking back.
Man. Okay, if she turns to go, I'm going to let her go. But he doesn't know for sure that she didn't see him throw the gun. And so there is lingering doubt. But she turns around, grabs me, and yells at me and walks off in a huff. I won't stop her. And in fact, I look around and head back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give her a minute, and then I head back in.
Let's go to the other group for a second. You're all heading upstairs. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think we're all in the office.
Like locking ourselves in there.
Moving the desk, maybe.
You're barricading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will tell them to go in, and I will tell Gigi keep the door closed, and and only open the door if it's me. And I'm gonna run out because the two people who are missing is Staley and the guy who has a gun who just shot someone. Like, that's all that's in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and I went and told Staley, and then she's fucking, this is my fault somehow, so like, I'm gonna run off before
I think
anything
as Jacob's like leaving, the gibbering mess that is Gigi in this moment is just yelling to tell him that Mrs. Toothaker went out the front door. Someone came in the front door, or they broke it, and she's just like, she can't even remember what is real anymore about what's going on. She just knows that Miss Toothaker is missing and people are getting shot.
All right.
And I'm gonna run off to find Staley.
You run out the back as Jay's still waiting for the police to arrive. It's a small island, and there's not really a police department so much as a couple of volunteer police officers who work with the fire department, which is also a volunteer department. And you head into the kitchen, you barricade the doors. Jacob, you run out through the back. You don't see anybody there. You see that siren, or you hear the siren. You see the lighthouse in the distance to the north, not too far away. But the woods are between you and the lighthouse. Do you wait for them to return, or do you head out?
I think very much Jacob like walks out and just probably blindly picks a direction, just in the hope that he's going to find Staley. And he will start shouting her name. And then, or actually he probably shout her name once, very, very loudly, and then remember there is someone with a gun, and doesn't shout again. Like, just, it's like a knee-jerk reaction, and then just like the sudden realization, and that he's out in the open, so he's like doing that ridiculous, like trying to like move between cover that in no way would stop a bullet, but like, I don't fucking know this, trying to like figure out where his friend is.
So roll me an empathy check, Josh, as you're trying to find them through instinct, luck.
Can I give into a vice in this moment?
Is empathy your highlighted stat?
It is.
So you can't give into a vice. Staley could, but you can re-roll once before the end of the session.
Okay, I will. So I will do it that way. So an empathy check.
Mm-hmm.
Is a 4.
What's one truth about what you find as you're heading out into the woods?
I don't find Staley, I don't find Merrill, I find Mrs. Toothaker.
So you do. You feel confused for a moment as you head off in a random direction. You quickly, like you're spinning around, you're getting lost, and then you head towards the only direction that has light. It's not the lighthouse, it's where the lighthouse is shining onto Our Lady of the Star, or Our Lady Star of the Sea Church. The church very close to the orphanage. It's this small, old, rickety wooden building with stained glass windows on one side, and the lighthouse is striking the back of the stained glass through it and creating this red crimson glow within the church. The church's door is wide open, and you can see a light on from inside of it. And for a second, you see moving across the body, just crossing the threshold of the door, of Miss Toothaker. You hear something inside, something loud, maybe a cry or a call, but you can't make it out over the siren.
Jacob has gone very, very, like, he isn't shaking. Like, he goes very quiet, very cold, and gets this like focus, like this really intense focus, and he's going to like make I'm going to sort of like look to see if I can get close, not to the door, but to one of the windows. And I know like what I see will be super distorted, but like I'm gonna try and get close to one of the windows, like hoping that all that I can think now is that maybe like Mrs. Toothaker has followed Staley or something. I don't know.
So, here's something I want to add to the scene. I want Staley to spot Jacob heading off towards the direction of the lighthouse's light, where it's shining. Would she follow Jacob?
Yep. In this moment,
Would
that's
she
exactly the only person that she wants to see.
And Merrill, as you're heading back to the house, you would see Staley stop, look in a different direction, and head off towards a light. Would he return to the house, or would he follow Staley?
He goes back, he straightens his shirt and his belt and adjusts his jacket and watches her move off toward the lighthouse. And then he spits on the ground and jogs back into the house.
All right. Staley, you see Jacob sneak around the back of the church, and Jacob, you look through the windows. It's hard to see the lighthouse light that shines into the stained glass of the church. Creates this incredibly red glow that's already distorted by the stained glass itself. Are you just trying to look through the glass? Or are you going to try to like... You're just trying to see if you can see anything?
Yeah. Like, there's like a huge spotlight through the glass at the moment. Like, so I'm gonna like see if I can see. And like this whole time, like under my breath, like probably too quiet to really be heard, I'm like, Staley, where the fuck are you?
And Staley, you see him sneak around to the back there. Jacob, I need you to roll me a smarts check as you're trying to see what you can get through this window. And this is going to be a desperate roll.
Oh,
You have a
Thanks.
reroll. You have a reroll.
You have a reroll.
Okay. I will take it.
You just need a 5.
Yeah, just a 5 down? Okay, that's, yeah.
Jacob, you find a spot in the stained glass that is less distorted than the rest. You can't hear Staley coming up on you, crying out. But you can see through, and you get a perfect look at a body bathed in red light. Mr. McGinty. You can see his face, blood smeared across the side of his face as he stands up from what would be the altar of this little church on the inside. And in his hand is what looks like a human heart. And you see him take a bite from the heart. And then the siren stops. The light from the lighthouse goes out, and you and Staley are left in darkness. And that is where our story ends for tonight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
As we take a moment to hurley ship, because accurate, I'm going to cut across so we can take a brief look at the Pretty Marsh map. Don, I don't know if you want to say anything about it. Our mics are all still open, so we're all still here. We're gonna
Yeah, let me pull it up too on my little... Oh, perfect, yeah. So this is our map of Pretty Marsh Harbor. We will, in our next session, get to explore more of the town. It's going to be sort of a little bit more open-ended, where people want to go and how they want to spend time. We'll probably have a time skip in our next session. We created this entire town through session zeros and improv world building exercises, and everybody added little pieces to it, and we'll keep adding little pieces to it. And so this is our map. These are the places that the children are familiar with. It all has its own history. I think it's all going to go up on World Anvil, and we have articles that are already written for all of the different areas. We might find new areas too. So the thing about truths in this game is your truth can be there's something there that we've never seen before, that we haven't been to before. It could be a new location. But that's our map. It's gorgeous. I love it. I love the art style. There's lots of little hidden Easter eggs in it. And yeah, that's something I'm really excited to open up to everybody now that we've had a couple of sessions in the orphanage itself, is the rest of the town.
So there you go. And yes, it will all be going on World Anvil. I was meant to be doing it this week, but I ran out of time, so it will be next week. Shout out to everyone who on Patreon who got a sneak peek of our world map, and shout out to the wonderful Kayla who did the artwork for it. I've put a link in the chat if you'd like to go and check out the work Kayla does. Let's go around, and first thing, I just want to check, is everyone okay? We're all good? Alright, we got thumbs up. Don, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Don's fine.
The voice of our tormentor.
Don's gonna be
Let's go
okay.
around. I'd like everyone to tell me their favorite part of today's session and where we can find you on the internet, and any projects you have coming up that you'd like to plug. Let's begin with the wonderful Ray up in the top corner.
Hey y'all, I'm Ray. Wow. Wow. Favorite part of I think I just love the chaos. Like truly, like this for a lack of a better term, this went from 0 to 100 real quick. And I love it. I love how everyone reacted. I like how it was all really authentic. I like Staley's little emotional outburst spotlight. And I'm really excited to see what's the next session now holds because of all of this craziness. Especially what hopefully Staley finds out about what happened in that church as she came up to Jacob. But yeah, no, this was nuts. This was the most intense session I've ever played in any sort of game. So kudos to Don for making me almost pee my pants. It's great. But yeah, you can follow me on With a Brick, 2Ks, almost everywhere on the interwebs. I have some really cool projects coming up. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I will be posting about them very, very soon. And yeah, thank you for letting me be a part of this chaos. I love it. I'm so stoked.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in chat who did retweet. We did unlock that poll and it's going on right now. And it's to find out where the children will learn something. The options are the church, the lighthouse, and town. Check out the numbers, hit your vote, and we'll find out at the end of this little outro section. Let's drop on down to the wonderful Josh.
Oh god. That was an episode. That was so teenagery. I don't know what the proper descriptor would be, but like yeah, that was so. I love how everyone just reacted in such teenagery ways. I love the fact that Jay got shot and was still like, God, you're such a dick. And I'm trying to like fix you, like, but that is the kind of pettiness that I live for in this show. It's just wonderful. Also, favorite moment, like 100%. I briefly said this to the guys in our behind the scenes chat, but like I want a split like piece of artwork with just like a super close up on Staley's eye, like super wide eyed and like angry, and then like just like lit by lightning, standing on a cliff edge, just like Merrill, like one hand in a pocket, the other hand throwing the gun over the edge, just like, oh God, it was so many amazing moments. I love the fact that Wren is such a little shit stirrer, but she's so innocent. Just everything about this game has just been wonderful. I can't thank you guys enough. As for me, I'll wrap up super quick, but my name is Josh. You can find me at the tag at rolePlayers_TV. And what am I doing? I will be doing stuff on Wednesday where you can on Tales from the Grim, where I play Aris the Witcher, who is far more competent and better at handling dangerous situations. And also a quick shout out to the LFM channel for Don's amazing stuff, because I'm a huge fan. Don's amazing stuff because I'm a huge fan of Veiled Alliance. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you very much. And moving across to the lady that plays Wren, the wonderful Lydia.
Wow. I have so many things to say about it. This was so great. This is my perfect game. So I think my favorite part was definitely interacting with Merrill and accepting his box of papers and trying to convince him that he needed to put them in a folder. Oh shit, I just love it all. Holy shit. Okay, I can't even think straight. It's the end of 3 hours and I'm brain dead. Anyways, if you want, you can find me on Twitter at Lydia Heals. I'm up to some stuff. Mainly, I just post pictures of my huge dog, and if you want to see anything else I do, just go there. Thank you, Don. This was great. This was wonderful. Forming words now is hard. I'm tired.
Mood. And just down below Lydia is the man who got shot, or rather, Jay got shot. How are you doing, Tommy?
Yeah, that didn't take very long. Second episode, and I mean, I knew that Jay was probably gonna get shot the moment Merrill took out his gun in that situation. I knew it was gonna happen, and I was egging it on to happen because I was like, Jay could run away, but that's not really what Jay would do. So I'm just gonna put him right in the line of fire. And I was like, do I want Jay to get shot? And I was like, yes, I do. But I love that whole session. Wren being an absolute cinnamon roll is great. Staley and Jacob just freaking out in the attic is hilarious. I love the scenery of that whole situation that was happening. The lighthouse turns on and you've got the light, you've got the storm, you've got the siren in the background, then you've got everything going down. And surprisingly, things that happened earlier in the game worked out very well for what happened later in the game. Like me saying that the door looked like it'd been bashed in works out perfectly. Jay, while shot, is in a very good position at the moment. Except for the part of being shot part. But yes, I am Imperator Pengu on the Twitter sphere. I do tabletop RPG stuff across the interwebs. Specifically, I'll be over on Salty Sweet Games bright and early tomorrow for some more horror as we start our first session of, I still don't know how to pronounce the name, Masks of Near that's just my name for it.
Nyarlathotep.
It's Call of Cthulhu. It's Pulp Call of Cthulhu. It's gonna be great. And I'm totally I want to see how long it takes for my character to get shot in that game as well. But other than that, I do video editing stuff across some tabletop channels. You can just follow me on Twitter. It's the easiest way to find out what I'm doing. But yeah, man, am I looking forward to next week.
Same. And the person in the middle of the storm today, the guy who yelled at his dead dad, Travis.
Yeah, he's got some dad issues. Hello, President Charlie. Obviously, this was badass. My favorite stuff was Wren and Merrill in the box, and also I thought Tommy did some really cool stuff when we were in the kitchen, and we go into his head, and he's mad at his mother, and I'm mad at my father, and that guy's between us, and the fire and the shoot. There's a lot going on in this moment in the kitchen that we're gonna get the feeling we'll be dealing with again. It's awesome, and I've spent all week thinking about what's in Merrill's shoebox. So it's just great. Hi, I'm producer Trav. So I need to get my plug game better. So here we go. Mondays, Laugh, Love, Lindy. Playing Mondays in Exandria. Matt Mercer's World. I play a lunatic artificer, Kalishtar, who lost his memories and then got them back, and now is basically a bad guy because of a cursed dagger. It's very complicated, but you should check it out because it's awesome. Tuesdays, I do Mrs. Ravenloft. Lindy runs it. It's lunacy. She turns 2nd edition modules into 5e, and then we run around doing Ravenloft stuff. We've been playing it for a year, and it's really great. And then we have Teenagers from Outer Space tomorrow morning, which is our Saturday morning cartoon with Lindy and Grieg. Suddenly I have an accent. And Grieg. And man, Kiana, want to go play with Greg. I'm going to play a teenager from outer space. And yeah, and Emma. And so that's all great stuff. And we're going to play some aliens in March. So I'll keep you posted. But this was amazing. I can't wait for next week. I love this character and I love this cast. Everybody's really checked in and really feeling it. And it's awesome. And so thank you all so much for watching. Because there's awesome things going on in chat, and it's all of these are special, but you know, this one's particularly a great bunch, and some really cool shit going on. So I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Before I cut to Don for Don's favorite parts and where we can find him, I want to mention that my favorite part was Wren with her little Orphan Annie box. I was waiting for you to start bursting into "and maybe now this dress," just like opening the box, and then with the CDs, it was the most genuine thing. And it's like, but she doesn't play them because she's afraid to ruin them, and my heart just broke into a million teeny tiny pieces. If you want to see hearts broken into pieces, however, come back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern when Susanna Grace is running a meat grinder that we are titling The Love Gauntlet, a mashup between Takeshi's Castle and Blind Date. If that has you intrigued, come by, check it out. We're raising money for Black Girls Code. It's going to be a really great fun. We've got 12 players signed up for it from the community, and if you want to get involved, sign up to our Discord because that's where we post about our meat grinders. Done. Hi, friend.
Hi. Oh man, it's hard to pick one favorite part. I think overall, what I love about this game and this group is that everybody's characters are so grounded and authentic and real, and because of that, and because of the situation, them coming from a variety of broken homes or not having parents any longer. And only having each other, they're all vulnerable in a very unique way. And because everybody in the cast is willing to have fun and be vulnerable and be honest, then when the horror kind of sneaks in, I think, it just resonates really well. I think I love watching everybody's character interactions. I could sit back and just watch you talk to each other all day. There's a moment today where I was like, oh, I should probably do something, but this is really good. I'll give it a couple minutes. But yeah, I really, really enjoy that. And I enjoy that because everybody has at different moments complete control over the game, as much control as I do. People are able to make some really compelling choices, not just about their characters, but about the world. Tommy leaned into getting shot, and I thought that was brilliant. And there are a lot of moments like that tonight with every single character that just made it a much cooler story. So I'm very thankful to get to be a part of it. I'm really excited to see what happens next. This was not what I expected to happen tonight, but that's, it's an improv game, so it's going to go somewhere. So I'm excited to see what next week's going to be for us. We'll definitely have to resolve whatever is going to happen at the church. And we'll have to figure out, what happens to Tommy. Maybe you'll get to visit the hospital. There's a hospital in town, so we'll see how that plays out. But anyways, I'm Donathan Fry on Twitter. I'm a GM, DM. I write RPGs. I've been writing a lot this year. Stuff that I can talk about soon, but not yet, so I won't. But I am the Dungeon Master for Rise of the Veiled Alliance, which Josh mentioned. It's a brand new Dark Sun 5th edition D&D game on a brand new channel, LFM Network. It's LFM_network. We just had our second session. It's really cool. It's a really great group, and I love Dark Sun. It's low, gritty fantasy. I'm including like social encounter rules that I've added to 5th edition that kind of create social encounters like combat encounters, so they're a little more complicated, and I'm really having a good time with that too. So check that out. That's Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time over on that channel. But otherwise, I'll be here next week. Looking forward to coming back and having more fun with y'all.
Really quickly, I just tuned in for the first time to that stream on Tuesday, and it's amazing. Everyone needs to watch it because it's incredible. Everything about it is amazing. So just go watch it.
Thank you so much, everyone. This has been amazing. Best part of my Friday right here, being horrified with this wonderful cast and crew. I'm going to hand over to something the future Charlie will be up to, which is the Crownlands, which is on Monday. But until then, have a great rest of your weekend. I hope to see you tomorrow for the meat grinder. And take care, everyone. Try not to roll too many net ones because things always get darker when you do. Good night.